Joining James Brown, Muhammad Ali, and myself now from New York City is the Reverend Al Sharpton. And Mr. Brown, James, I'd like to ask you about this young man, how you came to meet him, and what the National Youth Movement, which he represents, is all about. Tell me something about it.
It's about teaching young kids the right way to go, and the things to be involved in education. Don't be a dropout, which is one thing I'm very much behind. Unless kids have guidance, they have no place to go. And the idea is to try to mold them. I mean, we think of anything, we think of it as a baby. But we mold them to be what it would be later on. He used to stand at my back door, and he believed in what I said, the Don't Be a Dropout program, and the fact of helping kids and giving them the right idol and the right image to go with, cleaning, grooming, and wanting to work, wanting to be something. I started as a kid, a juvenile delinquent, and everything. Had no model. And I was able to be a model for a young man like this. And what he turned out to be is a minister, and he preaches the right thing, and I'm for him 1,000%. I'm for everything he's about.
Mr. Sharpton, how national right now is the national movement? Is it something new? Has it been going on for a while? Do you have a stated number of members? Tell me something about it.
Well, we don't really get into a numbers game because that's been a trick that has been played for the last 20 years. What we're basically interested in doing is saying to young people of impoverished backgrounds that there are people like a Muhammad Ali and a James Brown that represents hope to us. Because these people, despite all of the social odds, despite the unemployment statistics, despite the lack of education in their day, were able to grow and be something that we can be proud of. A man like me didn't have a father at home, but I had a James Brown to look up to and would want to sing and dance like him, or Muhammad Ali, who I saw stand up and get worth millions of dollars stamps to the government so that I would have a right to come 10 or 20 years later and try to fight for my kids. So what we're saying is there are symbols and images that kids can look up to and not have to throw a brick through a window, but that can work by the sweat of their brow and succeed just like these two gentlemen did.
But considering the numbers of young kids today, and Rev, there are hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of kids who really are in hopeless and desperate situations, is it enough to just offer them an example?
You say hopeless, though. Not hopeless.
Well, let's say, to them, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids.
It's never hopeless. There's no such thing as hopeless. It's never hopeless. When I got 8 to 16 years for breaking and entering as a kid because I was hungry, and here I am today, it's not hopeless. Don't say hopeless. Then we're carving out. I don't believe in hopeless. Don't you think it's hope? If you believe in something, try it. No, that's hopeless. I don't believe in hopeless. We're not going to go with that. And I think he's not about teaching them how to get out and fight for themselves. That's what it's about. No, it's not hopeless. Everybody has a cause and everything, but everybody want to live. And I think living is what we're about. We're not going to teach dying. Hopeless is dying.
I agree with you 100%, James. But what I'm trying to ask here is simply saying you too can be a James Brown or a Muhammad Ali. Is that enough to give a kid who's hungry, who doesn't know where his next meal is coming?
I'll say it.
Give him some way to go.
I think it's awful weak to tell a kid you can be a James Brown, one of the greatest entertainers in the world, and me, one of the greatest fighters. And like you said, the hundreds of thousands of millions of kids that need a break. You can't have that many great people, but they can get educated. They can go to school. They can learn. I'd like to say one thing. We have crime today. It's a big problem. I think they took a national vote on what the people want the government to spend most of the money on, and crime was over national defense. Worrying about Russia, China, outside enemies, they're worrying about inside crime. We have crime today, all prostitution, murder, exploitation, degradation, and wars of all kinds. And I'm going to tell you why everything's happening. And I think if you're intelligent, you agree with it. If we were riding an airplane and the two pilots die for some reason, is there anybody in this room that can go in the cockpit, pick up the radio, start working it, bring the plane in, depressurize it as it land, and make it late at night on a stormy day? You couldn't do it.
Right.
Well, but if you learn how to fly, or if they show you how to fly, you can. But since God made the world and God made us, He sent the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, sent Moses, Jesus, Noah, to show us how to run the world. And God left His laws. If we don't follow His laws, then we crash.
Let me say this though, Mr. Snyder, in response to your question to Mr. Brown, Mr. Ali. Yes, it is enough to begin with showing them an example. Because before you get to education, you need motivation. If you don't have motivation to get out of the bed, you won't make school or the party. And what we try to do by showing a James Brown or Muhammad Ali is not that you can be a great champion maybe like Ali or a great entertainer like James Brown, but if you use the same initiative that they did to make him get up 5 in the morning and run 10 miles and just have a dream and to come back 3 times and accomplish that dream, to have more hits than anybody in the world, even when the music world wouldn't give him credit for it in terms of a James Brown. If you had that initiative to keep working at whatever it is that you're going to do, you can succeed. And what we're saying to them is you may not reach the plateau of public prominence of them, but if you can reach the personal discipline and personal motivation of them, you can reach a plateau in your life. Because it's not about looking for a government handout, it's about looking for a way out, as James Brown said.
All right, and then how receptive are the young people that you tell this to?
Very receptive.
Really?
Very receptive. Very receptive. I think that people have misunderstood that most people of impoverished and depressed areas are not looking for the government to give them something. They just a chance. I remember when I was a little boy, John used to say, everybody give me nothing, just open the door, I'll get it myself. Well, that's all people want now is a chance. Let me get a piece of the action. Let me get a piece of the pie. Let me stand up on my own.
And one man should have the major corporation, the government, should get behind him and push the program that he's about.
There's about 1,000 of them out there. I think I'm asleep on it. Let's do that. See ya.
Full with the wisdom, sense of a rich man, knowledge and the rhythm. This is what I'm using to come up with a style, so I'll interact altogether better with the crowd. Nervous for a second and the record starts spinning and I fall into the state of mind of what I've just created. Pumping like the doctor, the into the heart, he took us ready to leap up on the tip when we made it. Created so I'll never be regarded as a regular, but just a little bit better than my competitor. You should never underestimate the passion. I hope for the stage whether I'm coolin' or thrashing. Rockin' the concoction created by me. When read you read, E equals a D-O to the C. Knowledge and the talent that my mother had born to her equals an artist I won't be born. What is that, Dre?
It's the formula.
Message that only I can understand, but those who wanna comprehend will again be in the midst of a brother. Unlike another in any way, cause Trey don't play, say what the others say. Originality is a must whenever I bust. The funky composition is crushed, and I trust that you know it when you hear a funky record with potential. Be getting hyped because Trey rocking the instrumental. Nothing like what you've heard before and more, never less. See, I don't best, I mean I'm like fresh if not the fresh. When I'm expressing my thoughts on body, you can help but listen up and get caught on. Because I cook when I pick up a pen and begin in the end, it's dope. That's cause I wanna win. Knowledge and the talent that my mother had born to her equals a duck. What is it, Dre?
Yo, man, that's the formula.
Keeping it deep as long as I
What's happening? Good morning. We up here in the lab. Gotta get my Einstein on. Got to get my Einstein on this morning. Damn, my green screen fucked up out here. Yeah. Oh, God damn it. Shit. Had to get that green screen together, you hear me? God damn it, what's happening? The presidential debate went on last night. We got to diagnose this bullshit. That they were saying last night at the presidential election. Let's see. Let me see shit. Fuck shit. What we gonna do? We wanna do y'all want some news or do y'all wanna hop straight into this presidential election? Emmett? Shit. Y'all want this news, y'all want to hop straight into this election. She said, I'm here for it. Yes, the bullshit. Yes, I know that y'all are here for this bullshit. Let's see this. I was listening to that presidential election last night, and I'm telling you, scientifically, it was some bullshit. Yeah, it was some bullshit, god damn it. Hold on. Give y'all some of this news, god damn it. Give y'all some of this motherfucking news out here. You know what? Shit, the presidential election, that motherfucker finna be so goddamn long. This shit finna be so goddamn long. Hold on. Let's get to this shit. What's up, Stephanie P? What's happening, goddammit? Let's get to this shit. I gotta go find my my lighters. Shit.
Campus of Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic. I'm Chris Wallace of Fox News, and I welcome you to the first of the 2020 presidential debates between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. This debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. The commission has designed the format, 6 roughly 15-minute segments, with 2-minute answers from each candidate to the first question, then open discussion for the rest of each segment. Both campaigns have agreed to these rules. For the record, I decided the topics and the questions in each topic. I can assure you, none of the questions has been shared with the commission or the 2 candidates. This debate is being conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Cleveland Clinic, which is serving as the health security advisor to the commission for all 4 debates. As a precaution, both campaigns have agreed the candidates will not shake hands at the beginning of tonight's debate. The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, no boos or other interruptions, so we, and more importantly you, can focus on what the candidates have to say. No noise except right now, as we welcome the Republican nominee, President Trump, and the Democratic nominee, Vice President Biden.
Trump look like a nigga you can't trust. He look like a nigga you can't trust.
How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm gonna have to light my shit up, I'm gonna have to light my shit up.
Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night, so let's get going. Our first subject is the Supreme Court. President Trump, you nominated Amy Coney Barrett over the weekend to succeed the Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the court. You say the Constitution is clear about your obligation and the Senate's to consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call an abuse of power. My first question to both of you tonight, why are you right in the argument you make and your opponent wrong? And where do you think a Justice Barrett would take the court? President Trump, in this first segment, you go first. Minutes.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all, top academic, good in every way. In fact, some of her biggest endorsers are very liberal people from Notre Dame and other places. So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time.
What's up, S.R.?
Even if we did it after the election itself. I have a lot of time after the election,
Hey,
you know.
right now,
But she will
Trump
be
full of
outstanding.
shit.
She's going to be
All this
as
shit he
good
talking
as
about,
anybody
this
to serve on
bullshit.
that court. We really feel that we have
Trump
a
is
professor
full of
who's
shit.
highly respected by all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school. And we won the election, and therefore we have...
Hey, do y'all notice these motherfuckers so old that Trump just goddamn got a glued on herpes? Why the fuck do Joe Biden look like he falling apart? It's like any given moment, that nigga's skin is gonna fall off, nigga. Why the fuck do you got so much skin above your eyelids, goddammit? Why the fuck do you got all that skin above your eyelids? This nigga look... Man, we can't vote for no motherfucking Biden. This nigga look like he... Bruh. This nigga so goddamn old. If that nigga fell out right then, they wouldn't even have to embalm the nigga. They wouldn't have to do shit. He look like he already ready to get in a casket right now. Joe Biden look like he a footstep and a half away from death, nigga. That's how old this nigga is. Man, get the fuck out of here. I'm not voting for this nigga.
have the right to choose her, and very few people knowingly...
Joe Biden look like a goddamn salamander.
They wouldn't even think about not doing it. If they had, the only difference is they try and do it faster. There's no way they would give it up. They had Merrick Garland, but the problem is they didn't have the election, so they were stopped. And probably that would happen in reverse also. Definitely would happen in reverse. So we won the election, and we have the right to do it, Chris.
President Trump, thank you. Same question to you, Vice President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, thank you for doing this and looking forward to this, Mr. President.
Thank you, Joe.
The American people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is. And that say occurs when they vote for a United States senators and when they vote for the President of the United States. They're not going to get that chance now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started. Tens of thousands of people have already voted. And so the thing that should happen is we should wait. We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is. Because that's the only way the American people to express their view is by who they elect as president and who they elect as vice president. Now, what's at stake here is the president's made it clear he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's been running on that, he ran on that, and he has been governing on that. He's in the Supreme Court right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which will strip 20 million people from having insurance, health insurance now, if it goes into court. And the justice, and I have nothing, I'm not opposed to the justice, she seems like a very fine person. But she's written before she went on the bench, which is her right, that she thinks that the Affordable Care Act is not constitutional. The other thing is on the court, and if it's struck down, what happens? Women's rights are fundamentally changed.
All right, I gotta stop it right there. Joe Biden and shit. Joe Biden, yes, nigga, I'm Dr. Trenton Aloysius Einstein. Okay? Now, if you look at my formula, goddammit, hold on. If you check my formula right here, goddammit, hold on. Right there, that's a formula to say that I detect bullshit. Alright? Alright, we are in my lab. Goddammit. And scientifically, I'm telling you, both of these niggas is full of shit. These two niggas right here, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, both of them is full of shit. The Affordable Care Act, dig this. Hold on, let me get serious. Alright, with the Affordable Care Act was something that Obama passed that essentially made your employer offer health care. Now, if you ever notice, anybody that's been working in corporate America, you were working in corporate America prior to the Obama administration, even even if you had a job somewhere during the first term of Obama. Then you know that things got rapidly worse in corporate America around the time of the second Obama presidency term, right? So a lot of that Affordable Care Act was just pork meat. It's pork butt that made the company spend their money in other ways. And once you have this prism of you gotta provide health care, you gotta provide this, you gotta provide that shit, then now the company can't send y'all on vacations, they can't send y'all on trips, etc., etc. So therefore the company's overhead grew, but that's what Medicare and Medicaid was for. Okay? Medicare and Medicaid is for, it's essentially for the same shit that this Affordable Care Act shit is aiming towards. Then the next lie that Joe Biden ass told is Joe Biden is over here talking about where they skip past electing the senator and then the senators appoint the judges and shit like that. If it's ultimately a presidential appointment, all right. Y'all who over here with me, y'all still following me because I was doing the R. Kelly shit. Okay. So Chuck Schumer and President Obama elected Judge Donnelly to her post. And who was the vice president? That old ass nigga that looked like he falling apart. Joe Biden was the president. The same nigga that was grilling Curtis Thomas over Long Dong Silver. We ain't forgot about you, Joe. We ain't forgot about good old Joe Biden. However, I continue.
Once again, a woman could be held pay more money because she has a pre-existing condition of pregnancy. They were able to charge a woman more for the same exact procedure a man gets. And that ended when we, in fact, passed the Affordable Care Act. And there's 100 million people who have pre-existing conditions, and they'll be taken away as well. Those pre-existing conditions, the insurance companies are going to love this. And so it's just not appropriate to do this before this election. If he wins the election and the Senate is Democrat or Republican, then he goes forward. If not, we should wait until February. All right.
All right, let's get off into this, y'all. Let's get off into this. All right, when he started talking about they charge more for a man and a woman to do the same exact procedure, okay, in the hospital, that is a feminist line. Those are feminist lies that these motherfuckers run with. All right, listen. When you have the prices on anything that you get in this motherfucking world, these prices come from what they like to call insurance actuator. Okay? An insurance actuator is who determines what goes where, how things get done, etc., etc. Alright? That's how you come up with these motherfucking prices. Okay? So the reason why women get charged more than men is because if I go in there and I do the procedure, then it's less shit that I have to worry about. I don't have to worry about, is this going to impede his ability to have a child, all right, to carry a child to term. All right. Next, women are more likely to use all of the different elements of a healthcare plan than men are. Women are more likely to take off from work than men. How many motherfucking men you know that done died on the job? Everybody knew at least one man that done died on his motherfucking job. I have never, ever, in the history of the motherfucking world, I have never heard of a motherfucking woman dying on her job. Okay? I ain't never heard of that shit. If you heard of a woman that died on the job, like she was at work, and she died, write in the motherfucking chat. If you heard of a woman that died while she was at work, drop it in the motherfucking chat. I have never ever in life heard of a motherfucking woman dying on a job, because women exercise all fucking elements of a healthcare plan. Therefore, I can't charge you the same thing for the same fucking medical procedures if I might have to go in, I might have to scoot up under your breast tissues. Alright, I might have to go in and I might have to give you something that may sterilize you, but you have to cut one of your ovaries off or something like that. Men don't have these issues. It was a lady working in line. She in the field. Then he used to work with my mom years back. This is someone who says that they feel dead at work of a heart attack, a apparent heart attack. I have personally never heard of a woman that fell dead at work. That ain't discrediting what she's saying, okay? Because that very well could have happened. Just for me, I know about 5 stories of men that have died at work. I cannot say the same thing about women. That's the first time I heard of a woman dying at work. I know personally, I used to be an over-the-road truck driver. When I was an over-the-road truck driver, it was a nigga that came back into the yard. We went up there in this nigga's truck. He had fell over dead. I used to work for the Coast Guard back in 2013. I got to work. It was a nigga named Doug. He used to come in that motherfucker, blow the toilet up every day. Wet, sloppy, nasty, bubbly shitting ass nigga. You feel me? God damn it. That nigga coming to the bathroom. He coming to the bathroom running. Everybody know when Doug bring his motherfucking ass into the bathroom, you get your ass out the bathroom. All ladies. I know it's all ladies in the chat. Man, listen. Have y'all ever been in a woman's restroom and you hear somebody using the bathroom and shit sounds so terrible you stop using the bathroom and say, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna have to shit on myself. I had to piss on myself. But I ain't listening to that shit. Alright? This is how the fuck Doug was. Doug fell the fuck out. Doug fell the fuck out at work. Alright? This is what happened. But this is the reason why come women and men have different prices. It has nothing to do with sexuality. It has something to do with the contributing factors that go into all of the different things that has to be taken into account for women that does not have to be taken account in for men. And therefore, if it's a larger if it's a larger possibility that there will be some type of lingering effects from said procedure, then I have to charge you more because it's more things that I have to account for. It has nothing to do with sexism. Now, move right on along.
There aren't 100 million people with pre-existing conditions. As far as the say is concerned, the people already had their say. Okay, Justice Ginsburg said very powerfully, very strongly, at some point, 10 years ago or so, she said a president and the Senate is elected for a period of time, but a president's elected for 4 years. We're not elected for 3 years. I'm not elected for 3 years. So we have the Senate, we have a president.
It's elected to the next
During
election.
that period of time, we have an opening. I'm not elected for 3 years. I'm elected for 4 years.
Hold on. Men have the same options as women in their health insurance plan. They just don't use it when the first sign of trouble and their body is alerting them to. It don't matter. It does not matter if they have the same option. When you use your insurance plan, you are costing Blue Cross Blue Shield, Anthem, Cigna, Aetna. You are costing the insurance company money. Juicy Love. I'm responding to Juicy Love right goddamn man. You cost your insurance company money. Okay, Juicy Love. When you use all of the options of your health insurance plan, it don't have anything to do with the same plan. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. This is why come we left the GED level, now we up here in grad school. We in the lab and shit. Okay, we in the motherfucking lab. Okay, this shit ain't got nothing to do with equality. Okay? This got everything to do with money. Okay? It has something to do with the dinero, the quan, the guap. Man, let me tell you. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. This is for Juicy Love. This is for Juicy Love. This is for Juicy Love.
Show me the money.
Let's look at
Spot for a Glock. I took a long over frost, but still got a knock.
Show me the money, Juicy Love.
Show you the money.
Oh, no, you can do better than that, Jerry.
You can do better than that, Juicy Love.
Brother, hey, I got Bob Sugar on the other line. I better hear you say it.
Yeah, no, show you the money.
That's not so you. Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Yeah. Louder.
Show me the money.
I need to feel you, Jerry.
Show me the money.
Jerry, you better yell. Show me the money. Show me the money. You the loudest black man. I want the black man. Show me the money. I love black people. I love black people. What you gonna do, Jerry? Show me the money.
Congratulations, you're still my agent.
Congratulations. You still, she said, hold on. We're gonna go right here. We're gonna answer Juicy Love. All the options we just have, yearly test. That man don't need to. Men will go and get the yearly check. Men will go and get the yearly check. And I think that you may be speaking about yourself personally. But however, you have to understand, Juicy Love, you are a minority. You are a minority, okay? Juicy Love, you are a minority. Alright? So, you appear to be a black woman, at least from your profile picture. You appear to be black. If you're not black, then please say something. But you appear to be black. So you are, black people make up 12.4 to 13% of the population of the total United States. That other 86% of people are whites. You know? That's why. That's why 86% of the people are whites. And even if you don't use it, white women go and get mammograms. They go and get every goddamn gram, echocardiographs. Miss Fat Fat. Miss Fat Fat, hey, Nikki M. You know, Nikki Reynolds in the building, y'all. If that school teacher Nikki up there, look like that school teacher Nikki. Y'all say hi to school teacher Nikki. Any chance you could put on a green, white, and gold wig? I'm Einstein, not Magic Don Juan, Iris Soul for Kelly. Listen. Hey, Nikki Reynolds, Nikki, school teacher Nikki, was the one who told me that goddamn Levi used to be on the radio out there in Detroit, okay? She revealed the true identity of motherfucking R. Kelly's cousin Levi to me. This was a while ago. School teacher Nikki, if you care to call in and reveal it one more time, I would surely appreciate it. God damn it. This is the Dr. Trent Morning Show. What up, Dr. Rod? We got we got my fellow PhD academic. You hear me? We got Dr. Rogers in the building. You hear me? Oh shit. You gotta get on Zoom in 10 minutes. It's gonna take you 4 minutes to explain the story. You still got 6 minutes to pop you a bagel, eat you a donut, get you a cup of orange juice, a cup of cold ass goddamn water, and you could be right back to that goddamn Zoom call in 6 minutes. You got time to take that old ass toothbrush that y'all black women be using, slick down your motherfucking sides, create baby hair, and be on the call. School teacher Nikki. Y'all can come into the lab with Trent. Y'all can come into the lab with Trent. Okay? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Sound like some bullshit. God damn it, I gotta get my stethoscope. It sounds like some bullshit. Hey, but anyway, we still love you, school teacher Nikki. What were we talking about? Miss Fat, call in. Listen, I know you a nurse. You probably up with them motherfucking patients. Them niggas is not gonna die. Them niggas is not finna die if your ass call in for 3 minutes. Miss Fat, call in for 3 minutes. Your motherfucking patients is not gonna die in 3 minutes. And if they do, their ass was gone anyway. It wasn't shit you could do about it. Miss Fat, call in and talk about these insurance premiums real quick. I just need you for 2, maybe 3 minutes, goddammit, so that we could get to these insurance premiums that we are talking about, so that we can leave this point forever broken. We are on a grad school level session right now, but we are talking about the anomalies. God damn, my lab is hot in a motherfucker, boy. Shit. My lab is hot as hell, y'all. Real talk. Hold on, let me see. But anywho, Miss Fat may or may not call in. Alright. She may or may not call in. Okay. However, I do need you to goddamn elucidate on these points. Okay? But yes, women are more likely to use all of the elements of a healthcare plan, or more elements of a healthcare plan, than men are. And we have to remember that all of the standards, what is determined as normal in America, is that of a 35-year-old white man. Okay? They're of a 35-year-old white man, that of a 35-year-old white woman. You and I, as blacks, black women, black men, even if you got some Puerto Rican, you are a nigga by the way of some islands called Puerto Rico, the Port of Rico. Even if you Mexicans, you are just lost niggas, okay? But you still niggas nonetheless. The standard in America, when they are saying they are taking the average, that is the average of the white man and not the black man, the white woman and not the black woman. So even if we ourselves, or even though we might be categorized as that, Miss Fat, them niggas ain't finna die. Shit, Miss Fat act like niggas finna die in 37 seconds, man. Please. Anywho, it's about a middle-aged white folks. All right, that's what this shit is about. Now, shit, we're gonna go out and listen to
And the
it.
100
already
million
started.
people, Joe, the 100 million people is totally wrong. I don't know where you got that number. The bigger problem that you have is that you're going to extinguish 180 million people with their private health care that they're very
That's
happy
simply
with.
not true.
Well, you're certainly
knows
going
that.
to socialists.
Go
You're
ahead.
going to
This
socialist
is,
medicine.
we're now into, gentlemen, we're now into open discussion.
Open discussion.
Open discussion. Yes, I agree. Go ahead, Vice President.
Number
Biden.
one, he knows that what I proposed. What I proposed is that we expand Obamacare and we increase it. We do not wipe any. And one of the big debates we had with 23 of my colleagues trying to win the nomination that I won were saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance still. They can. They do. They will under my proposal.
Not what you've said,
But
and it's not what
that
your
is-
party has said.
that is simply
Your party
a lie.
doesn't say it. Your party
That is
wants to
simple.
go socialist
My
medicine.
party is
and
me.
socialist
Right
healthcare.
now, I am
And
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. The platform of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is what I, in fact, approve.
I'm gonna tell y'all why I love Donald Trump. All right, do y'all want to know why I love Trump? Listen, I want y'all to go back here. I want to see if y'all caught this.
They do. They will under my proposal.
Not what you've said,
But
and it's not what
that
your
is-
party has said.
that is simply
Your party
a lie.
doesn't say it. Your party
That is
wants to
simple.
go socialist
My
medicine.
party is
and
me.
socialist
Right
healthcare.
now, I am
And
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. The platform of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is what I, in fact, approved of. What I approved of. Now, here's the deal. The deal is that it's going to wipe out pre-existing conditions. And by the way, the 200 million,
Trump is over here. He throwing y'all. Look, he throwing y'all little games. He throwing y'all like he giving y'all the game. He trying to tell you behind the scenes, because if you pay attention to that last 20-30 seconds that I just played, right? You see Joe Biden is over here trying to sell a character. He's trying to sell the hustle. But behind closed door, white man to white man, he said, okay, hold on, we got Miss Fat. Hold on, Miss Fat, let me get you on the show. Alright, appreciate you for calling in. I know you at work or whatever. We got Miss Fat on. Miss Fat, on the side note, go ahead and tell us about these insurance premiums and that, can you speak on that insurance premium as a healthcare professional?
Yeah, with the insurance premiums, the thing people need to realize is that, first of all, this is a business. So therefore, the business have to pay the premium for every employee. They're not going to pay for the best premium. They're going to pay for the cheapest that's coming out of their pocket. Yes, we do have to pay for it too. But every job has to pay a premium on every single employee that elects the insurance. So they're not going to choose what's best for the employee. They're going to choose what's best for their pocket. What's the cheapest that they have to pay.
Yeah.
I'm complaining about my insurance right now.
Right.
And that's why they always switch it up. Back in the days, I remember when I was younger and I was under my mom's insurance, it was one insurance for dental, for vision, and for health. You had one card, one insurance. Now they done broke it down to you got an insurance for dental, an insurance for medical, an insurance for vision, all up under different entities.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not cheap at all. It costs more for a family now.
Yeah. So last night in the debate, Joe Biden, and I know that you at work or whatever, so you gotta go. You just gotta go. But last night Joe Biden was talking about they're going away with Affordable Care Act, and presumably you've been in the healthcare industry for all that time. So what has as somebody who's been in that who's in that industry, how has the Affordable Care Act either helped or hurt? Because my stance on it is that Affordable Care Act, it's a nice, good banner. It makes a sexy campaign topic. But when you look at what Affordable Care actually did, many of the deliverables from the Affordable Care Act displays different assets within the business by essentially making the business have to go out and get health care, and that enrich the pharmaceutical and medical industry. But as far as for the bottom line of the company started cutting more jobs. They started offering less perks, less advantages of the job because they had to go in and give all this medical coverage when you still had Medicare, Medicaid, etc., etc. As somebody in the industry, what's your take on the Affordable Care Act from Obama's administration?
You are correct. It did give an outlet for people that didn't have insurance. So you do have these university hospitals where people that don't have insurance go to. So then that falls back on the state, even having to pay. Even because just because it's Medicaid and Medicare, everybody don't qualify for those things. Mm-hmm. So some people literally work, but they can't afford to pay the insurance. Mm-hmm. So they go to these free clinics and stuff, which where that bill goes back to the state, back for us to cover, back for the taxpayers to cover. So I've heard from other patients that even though they have insurance, it's still not a good insurance. It's still not the best because they still having to pay out of pocket. They still having high bills, and all jobs don't offer insurance. I guess that's on the business side. I guess that all depends on how many employees you actually have. I don't know about that part, but I haven't heard anything great about it. Some people are happy to just have insurance, but it's not like it's a wonderful coverage.
And two, you could go into, when it comes down to healthcare, they have something called the marketplace. And you could go into the marketplace as a private citizen and get a plan from Cigna. You can get a plan from Aetna. You can get a plan from any of these different insurance companies on your own, without all of these regulations. The problem is that once you take something and you make it a regulation, then you make somebody rich. You know what I mean? But
right, because I had to do that for my son. Mm-hmm. I couldn't cover on mine because even though he was of age, it just was too expensive. I'd have been paying more out my check than anything just to cover him. So I bought him insurance by himself through Blue Cross Blue Shield, and it was $200-something just for him, and that was just for medical. Mm-hmm. At 20 years old with no other health issues, I just needed him up on some insurance, but it's too high. It's very expensive.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because
there's a lot of working people who really can't afford to spend $200 every check, every payday.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so let me ask you my next question. My next question is that when we have the onset of the LGBTQ agenda that's backed by the women's suffrage movement, then we start seeing a lot of these talking points that say that, well, women, they get charged more than men for the same thing. And my personal stance is that women are more likely to use all of the benefits of an insurance plan. They're more likely to go and visit a doctor. They are more likely to go and get dental work done. They're more likely to go and use everything than the men. Are. Men will be having a fucking heart arrhythmia and still going to work. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And so, so that all
women get to go to the doctor more and see about ourselves.
Yeah, and so with that being said, though, with that being said, men are less likely to use the other elements of the plans, and that's why those insurance premiums are higher, and also the capability of things that can go wrong for a woman is greater than what can go wrong for a man. And I want to, I just wanted to say,
especially in childbirth.
Yeah, childbirth. What are those bags that women get in their vaginal area?
You know what? I'm not playing with you.
No, I'm saying it's it's essentially like a trash bag that women start getting in their uterus or uterine canal. Fuck. It'll come to me. The medical term for it will come to me. I can't think of it right now. But these are just basically like pockets of waste. Like you got fibrous pockets and stuff like that start developing. You know.
Yeah, you have cysts and you have fibroids
cysts and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is that I just wanted to kind of put some of this stuff to bed because Joe Biden, if we paying attention to this debate, and we only about 8 minutes into it now, but if we paying attention to what's going on, fibroids, that's it, fibroids. Thanks, SR. When we start paying attention to these debates, we see that Kamala Harris is on the docket. And by virtue of her being on the docket, they're going to push a super feminist ballot. You know, they're going to start talking about the women issues. They're going to start talking about disparities in women. And I'm all for women's rights, but let's just not lie about what's actually wrong with women, and let's just tell the truth about what's going on. That's all that I'm saying. So, I know you got to get up out of here, but is it anything that you wanted to speak on?
Nothing. I'm loving the formula. Loving the grad school. Yep.
All right, then. Well, appreciate you for calling in. I'll let you go and get back to work.
All right.
So, before we got the call from Miss Fat Fat, we want to talk about basically these last 20-30 seconds. Let me replay that for some of the people who just came into the room. Here we go.
We had with 23 of my colleagues trying to win the nomination that I won. We're saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance still. They can. They do. They will under my proposal.
It's not what you said,
But
and it's not what your party has said.
That is simply
Your party
a lie.
doesn't say it. Your party wants to go socialist medicine.
My party is
and
me.
socialist
right
healthcare.
now, I am
and
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. The platform of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is what I, in fact, approved of. Now, here's the deal. The deal is that
Right there, you just saw Joe Biden trying to stay in character, but Trump was busting him out. Trump was banging on him. Trump was throwing a combination punch on him. He said, man, that's y'all, your party wants to go socialist. For those of y'all who are still down on the GED level, what socialist means is that it's anti-capitalism. Socialist means everybody gets something, okay? And it's like if you got if your mother has 4 kids, she go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac. She cut the Big Mac into 4 pieces and spread the fries evenly amongst 4 people. In its simplest form, that's what socialism is. Everybody get the same thing. Okay? Everybody get the same thing. That's what a socialist means. Everybody gets the same thing. Okay? Now, he's saying this is what your party wants to go to. Everybody gets the same thing. No matter how hard you work, you're not going to have more than the bum that's living under the highway. Period. You're not going to have more than the bum that's living under the highway. It don't matter because it's a socialist agenda. It's equality or whatever. And he's like, Joe, you don't really believe that. You are in character right now, but you don't really believe that bullshit. He like, come on, bro. We done set up in this motherfucker. We done talked. Nigga, you don't believe this shit. But go, I shall continue. I just want to know that.
it's going to wipe out pre-existing conditions. And by the way, the 200,000 people that have died on his watch, how many of those have survived? Well, there's 7 million people that contracted COVID. What does it mean for them going forward if you strike down the Affordable Care Act. And
Joe, you've had
pre-existing-
308,000 military people dying because you couldn't provide them proper health care in the military. So don't tell me
I'm
about
happy
this.
to talk about
And
this.
if you were here,
Look,
it
here's
wouldn't
the
be
deal.
200, it would be 2 million people because you were very late on the draw. You
Late
didn't
on
want
the
me to
draw.
ban China, which was heavily infected. You didn't want me to ban
All right, gentlemen,
Europe, which
no,
was heavily
Mr. President,
infected. You would have
Mr.
been much
President,
later, Joe.
Mr. President,
much later.
Mr. President.
You're talking about 2 million people.
You're not gonna be able
President
to-
Did y'all just hear that? Did y'all just hear that? Hold on, we got to go back on that one.
Going forward, if you strike down the Affordable Care Act. and
Joe, you've had
pre-existing-
308,000 military people dying because you couldn't provide proper health care in the military. So don't tell me
I'm
about
happy
this.
to talk about
And
this.
if you were here,
Look,
it
here's
wouldn't
the
be
deal.
200, it would be 2 million people because you were very late on the draw. You
Late
didn't
on
want
the
me to
draw.
ban China, which was heavily infected. You didn't want me to ban
All right, gentlemen,
Europe, which
no,
was heavily
Mr. President,
infected. You would have
Mr.
been much
President,
later, Joe.
Mr. President,
much later.
Mr. President.
You're talking about 2 million people.
You're not gonna be able to
President, as
shut
the
him up.
moderator,
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'm not for Trump or Biden, but Trump will be your best choice for president. Trump will be your best choice for president. And we are 8 minutes and 48 seconds in. I'm telling you that right away because Trump just told him some real shit. Trump just told him some real shit. And they keep saying Trump is dumb. They keep saying Trump is this, Trump is that. Trump just told him, Nick, dude, don't talk about my fuck ups when you and Obama had 8 years of fucking up. Yeah, I fucked up, but y'all got the number one expense in the world. The number one expense in the world, the number one expense in the United States was what we spend our money on, our gross domestic product, is defense. So if you have 308 soldiers, Marines, airmen, and sailors that don't have sufficient health care coverage, and you can't protect them while they're over at war, how dare you talk to me about this corona shit when I said I want to lock down the borders from China? COVID-19 started in Wuhan, China, or Wuhan, China. He said, I wanted to lock the borders down in China. I wanted to lock the borders down for people from the Middle East. Y'all came with that kickback, and now y'all blaming me for some shit that y'all motherfuckers caused. But we gonna continue. Because, matter of fact, he was going so hard that the moderator tried to cut him off. It's cool. I see people dropping off. It's cool. When we talk that real shit over here at grad school, you know, people drop off. But shit, those of y'all who are with me who want to hear the truth, he's over exaggerating. He's telling the truth. He is telling the truth. He's telling the truth. Because the same judge that got R. Kelly popped off is the one that did the ban for a lot of those foreign terroristic agents. Judge Donnelly, she overturned his ban. She overturned the ban. Oh, what? Xenophobic. But however, Joe Biden getting his ass kicked all over CNN. And CNN is a Democratic news station. But we shall continue.
we are going to talk about COVID in the next segment, but go ahead.
Let me finish. The point is that the president also is opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's on the ballot as well in the court. And so that's also at stake right now. And so the election is all.
You don't know it's on the ballot. Why is it on the ballot?
Because
why is it on the ballot? It's not on the ballot.
It's on the ballot in the court.
I don't think so.
In the court.
Well, there's nothing happening there.
Donald, would you
and
just
you don't
be quiet
know
for
her view on Roe v. Wade.
I don't know
her view.
Well, all right. Let's talk. We got a lot to unpack here, gentlemen. We got a lot of time. So on healthcare.
All right, let me unpack that let me unpack what they just talked about. Roe versus Wade was a case in which they went to the Supreme Court about the women's right to have an abortion. Okay, and so again, Joe Biden is running under, I don't know about that. Dr. Rice, I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that. That TRICARE is some bullshit. You know, that TRICARE is some bullshit, man. It's alright, but that TRICARE is some bullshit. But listen, anyway, Roe versus Wade is a case where the woman got to choose, where basically they chose that a woman can have an abortion or whatever. This is all stemming out of the 1851 Women's Liberation Movement by Tennessee McLachlan and her sister and all of that. This is the free love where women can have sex with whoever they want to have sex with, do whatever they want to do, etc., etc. So he's saying that that's on the ballot, i.e. they are trying to do a shoot-in, or that was a dog whistle for the women's vote. White women, of course. But didn't Trump know about the virus in January or before and didn't say anything until February? The damage from China was already here indeed. Trump tried to lock those borders down in 2018. He tried to lock those borders down a long time before that stuff ever came about. Sure did.
And then we'll come back to Roe v. Wade.
All right.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court will hear a case a week after the election in which the Trump administration, along with 18 state attorneys general, are seeking to overturn
That's right.
Obamacare, to end Obamacare. You have spent the last...
Because they want to give good health care.
If I may ask my question, sir.
Good health care.
Over the last 4 years, you have promised to repeal and replace Obamacare, but you have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan
Yes,
to
I have.
replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Well,
I got rid of the individual
I'm going to give you an
mandate. Excuse me,
opportunity.
I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a
That is
big
not a
chunk of
comprehensive
Obamacare. That
plan.
is absolutely a big thing. That was the
I
worst part of
didn't ask you.
Obamacare.
I don't give a fuck, man. I like me some Trump. I like me some Trump. Cause he like, I'm not gonna let you fly. Hello? I'm at the house. Alright. Anywho, Trump be like, nigga, I ain't finna let y'all run with that bullshit. Check this out, y'all.
Repeal and replace Obamacare, but you have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan
Yes,
to
I have.
replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Well,
I got rid of the individual mandate.
I'm going to give you an
Excuse me,
opportunity.
I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a
That is
big
not a
chunk of
comprehensive
Obamacare. That
plan.
is absolutely a big thing. That was the worst
I
part of
didn't ask you,
Obamacare.
sir.
Chris,
You're
that was the
debating him,
worst
not
part of
me.
Obamacare.
Let me ask my question.
Well, I'll ask Joe.
The
The individual mandate was the most unpopular aspect of Obamacare. I got rid of it.
I'd like
and
you
we
to,
will protect
Mr.
people
President,
with
I'm the
pre-existing
moderator of this
conditions.
debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer your
Go ahead.
question. You, in the course of these 4 years, have never come up with a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare, and just this last Thursday, you signed a largely symbolic executive order to protect people with pre-existing conditions 5 days before this debate. So my question, sir, is what is the Trump health care plan?
Fine. Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something, that there's nothing symbolic. I'm cutting drug prices. I'm going with favored nations, which no president has the courage to do because you're going against big pharma. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You could have done it during your 47-year period in government, but you didn't do it. Nobody's done it. So we're cutting health care.
What about
All of the
pre-existing
things that
conditions?
we've done,
He has not cut
insulin. I
healthcare.
give you an example, insulin. It was destroying families, destroying people because I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water, you want to know the truth. So cheap. Take a look at all of the drugs that what we're doing, prescription drug prices. We're going to allow our governors now to go to other countries to buy drugs because
When in
they
fact-
pay just a tiny
As
fraction.
I say,
of
this
what
is
we do.
open discussion.
No,
Let
but
me
this
ask
is
you about,
big, this
you'll be
is
happy,
big stuff.
sir. You'll be happy. I'm about to pick up on one of your points to ask the vice president, which is he points out that you would like to add a public option to Obamacare. And
Yes.
the argument that he makes and other Republicans make is that is going to end private insurance.
It is
and
not.
will. If I can
sorry.
ask you the question. It will
Not what
end.
your party says, by the way.
It will end private insurance and create a government takeover of health care.
It does not. It's only for those people who are so poor they qualify for Medicaid. They can get that free in most states, except governors who want to deny people who are poor Medicaid. Anyone who qualifies for Medicare would, Medicaid would automatically be enrolled in the public option. The vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option. Number one.
Joe, you
Number
agree
two.
with Bernie
Number-
Sanders, who's
I
far
did-
left, on the manifesto,
When
we
you-
call it.
with
And that
manifest-
gives you socialized medicine.
Look, hey,
Are you saying
I'm
you
not going
didn't
to
agree?
listen to him. The fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm
Not
here.
by
I'm here
much.
standing facing you, old buddy.
Pocahontas would have.
See, I like motherfucking Trump. Trump calling Biden out on this bullshit right now. Biden didn't even have an answer, okay? Biden didn't even have no answer. He said, the fact of the matter is, I beat him. Nigga, respond to what he is saying. Respond to what he's saying. Again, I'm not for nor against Trump. I'm not for nor against Joe Biden. All I'm doing is I'm breaking down these motherfucking lies. I'm over here. I peep game. Alright? Period. I peep this game. Now let's check this shit out.
Left
Well,
2 days
I tell
early,
you,
you would have lost every primary.
All he knows how to
on
do is
Super
hurt.
Tuesday. You got
Look,
very lucky.
here's the deal. I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well. And tonight I'm going to
With
make
what?
sure because
With what?
here's the deal. Here's the deal. The fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just
agree,
want to
and
make
Joe,
sure.
you're the liar.
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that. He has,
You'd be
you know,
surprised.
you pick
You'd be surprised.
the
Go ahead,
wrong
Joe.
guy,
Go,
the
go,
wrong
Joe,
night at
go.
the wrong time.
Listen, you agreed with
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders to the
The
manifesto.
whole idea.
Let
Now you're
him-
disavowing it.
There is no manifesto, number
Please
one.
let him speak, Mr.
Number
President.
two.
You just lost the left.
Number two.
You just lost the left. You agreed with Bernie Sanders on a plan.
Folks,
that's absolutely
folks,
agreed
do you have
to,
any
and under that
idea
plan,
what
you have
this clown's
socialized,
doing?
They call it
Mr.
Do you
Mr.
have
President.
any do?
socialized medicine.
Mr.
Well, I
President.
tell you what, he is not for any help for people needing health care. Because
Bernie?
because he in fact already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers because of his recession. Number one. Number two,
yeah.
there are 20 million people getting health care through Obamacare now that he wants to take it away. He won't ever look you in the eye and say that's what he wants to do. Take it away.
No, I want to give them
Number
better.
three.
Again, the 20 million folks that Biden is talking about that he wants to take healthcare away from, he is running goddamn game. Talk about the points of your plan. Talk about the points of your plan. Hold on, this is a debate. It's a debate. It's a debate. It's a debate.
Health care at a much lower price because
and by the way,
Obamacare
he doesn't
is
know
no
how.
good.
He doesn't know how
I've
to do
already
that.
fixed it.
He has never
I've
offered
already
a plan.
fixed it to an extent.
He has never
Obamacare,
done a
as you
single
might
thing.
know, but probably don't. Obamacare
Gentlemen, you realize
is no
if you're
good,
both
Joe.
speaking at the
It's no
same
good,
time.
and it's too expensive.
Let the president. Go ahead, sir.
Obamacare is no good. We made it better, and I had a choice to make very early on. We took away the individual mandate. We guarantee pre-existing conditions, but took away the individual
true.
mandate. Listen, this is the way it is, and that destroyed. That they shouldn't even call it Obamacare. Then I had a choice to make. Do I let my people run it really well or badly? If I run it badly, they'll probably blame him, but they'll blame me. But more importantly, I want to help people. Okay? I said, you got to run it so well.
That's what he's
And I
known
just
for.
had a meeting with them. They said the problem is no matter how well you run Obamacare, it's a disaster. It's too expensive.
Right. I got you.
Premiums
I
are
got
too
it.
high, and
That's
it
what his
doesn't work.
people- that's
So
what his people
we
say.
we do
No,
want to
no,
get
no.
rid of it.
It's
Chris,
an
we
open-
want to get rid of it.
I
and
understand
give
it, sir,
something
but I have
that's
to. I
cheaper.
have to give you roughly equal time.
Good.
Please let the vice president talk.
Good.
He has no plan for health care.
Of course we do.
Please.
He sends out wishful thinking. He has executive orders that have no power. He hasn't lowered drug costs for anybody. He's been promising a health care plan since he got elected. He has none, like almost everything else he talks about. He does not have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. And the fact is, this man doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right,
He's
I have one final question for you,
Sure.
Mr. Vice President. If Senate Republicans, we were talking originally about the Supreme Court here, if Senate Republicans go ahead and confirm Justice Barrett, there has been talk about ending the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there. You call this a distraction by the president, but in fact, it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in the Congress. So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote.
Did he not answer the question directly? The thing that I'm noticing about Joe Biden is that he's super evasive. He's super evasive, man. Like, really listen to this, okay?
The filibuster or packing the court.
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now.
You're gonna pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know
He doesn't want
you're
to answer the
senators.
question.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why
because
wouldn't you answer that
because
question?
the question
You want to put a
is
lot of
the
new
question
Supreme Court
is
justice,
the
radical
question-
left.
Will you
Who
shut
is
up,
on,
man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
This
Who's
is
on your
so
list?
right.
Gentlemen, I think
This
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the
unprecedented.
court.
We have
I'm not going to give a list.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people understand, Joe.
They sure
47 years you've done nothing. They understand.
All right. The second subject is COVID-19, which is an awfully serious subject. So let's try to be serious about it. We have had more than 7 million cases of coronavirus in the United States, and more than 200,000 people have died. Even after we produce a vaccine, experts say that it could be months or even years before we come back to anything approaching normal. My question for both of you is, based on what you have said and done so far and what you have said you would do starting in 2021, why should the American people trust you more than your opponent to deal with this public health crisis going forward? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Good luck. 200,000 dead. As you said, over 7 million infected in the United States. We, in fact, have 5%, 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths. 40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has no plan. He hasn't laid out anything. He knew all the way back in February how serious this crisis was. He knew it was a deadly disease. What did he do? He's on tape as acknowledging he knew it. He said he didn't tell us or give people a warning of it because he didn't want to panic the American people. You don't panic. He panicked. In addition to that, what did he do? He went in and we were insisting that the Chinese, the people we had on the ground in China should be able to go to Wuhan and determine for themselves how dangerous this was. He did not even ask Xi to do that. He told us what a great job Xi was doing. He said we owe him a debt of gratitude for being so transparent with us. And what did he do then? He then did nothing. He waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a plan. I laid out
Sir,
back
it's
in
just 2
March
minutes.
exactly
So
what we
wrong.
should be doing. And I laid out again in July what we should be doing. We should be providing all the protective gear possible. We should be providing the money the House has passed in order to be able to go out and get people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools that cost a lot of money. You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
So if we would have listened to you.
You have 2 minutes, sir.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But if you look at what we've done, I closed it and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist and he's xenophobic because you didn't think I should have closed our country. Wait a minute.
It's 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was.
I'm gonna tell y'all straight up before I go any further with this. We can go and we could research everything. We could go and do this and that, but just straight up, Donald Trump is attacking the issue head on. He's attacking the issue head on. What Joe Biden is doing, Joe Biden is acting like a white Baptist preacher right now, where Joe Biden is saying those specific talking points that the Democrats have been putting out in commercials. They have been putting out on like shows like Wendy Williams, the Oprahs, shit like that. And then they go and they take all of these specific talking points that have been popularized, over glamorized, all of this stuff that has been, how can I put this? All of these points that have become cliche. And once they are taking these points and that they are becoming cliche, he's not answering to the underlying question. He's only saying enough so that tomorrow or today, when CNN runs with this, can you hear what Joe Biden said? Joe Biden said this. When he's telling you, you don't know how many numbers they came from China because China is bullshitting on the number that they gave you, the president of the United States would be somebody who would know that. Okay? The second thing is that they are full of shit. He's telling you like, yo, they are full of shit. The third thing is he's saying, we are in a bad situation. Don't get us wrong. However, you are denouncing your contribution to the situation being what it is. Period. Y'all are trying to totally throw all of this off on me. Yeah, I play a part in it ultimately because I'm the president. But let's talk about the things that y'all did, such as not allowing these bans or these locking downs of the borders, okay, that allowed COVID to come in, or that put us in a situation to where we could not lock down the borders and protect the United States from foreign threats and from these detrimental nuclear agents that have essentially wreaked havoc in the United States. So, but now when they said that millions have died, 1 million people died, right? Now that was a memo, but 1 million people died worldwide. This was on MSNBC like 2-3 days ago. 1 million people died from COVID worldwide, not just the United States. Worldwide. That means Asia, where it started at, Europe, Australia, Africa. 1 million people across the world died. All right, we shall continue.
It was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said, President Trump saved thousands of lives. Many of you Democrat governors said, President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look. The governors said I did a phenomenal job. Most of them said that. In fact, people that would not be necessarily on my side said that. President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did. We got the gowns, we got the masks, we made the ventilators. You wouldn't have made ventilators. And now we're weeks away from a vaccine. We're doing therapeutics already. Fewer people are dying when they get sick. Far fewer people are dying. We've done a great job. The only thing I haven't done.
Dr. Rogers, how? He is a major part of the issue. He's talking over the debate. I'm saying how? He is answering all of the stuff. When Joe Biden is talking, Joe Biden is saying a lot of bullshit. We gotta be real about that. A lot of what Joe Biden is saying is bullshit. Like, it's just bullshit. It's bullshit. A lot of what he's saying is bullshit. Like, it ain't just over talking. Is if you lying, I'm not finna let you run with a lie. I'm not finna let you run with a lie. We gonna roll this. I wanna at the end of this, I'm gonna get
Done a
some
good
call
job, and that's because of the fake news. No matter what you say to them, they give you bad press on it. It's just fake news. They give you good press, they give me bad press, because that's the way it is, unfortunately. But let me just tell you something. I don't care. I've gotten used to it. But I'll tell you, Joe, you could never have done the job that we did. You don't have it in your blood. You could have never done that job.
I know how to.
He
do
said
the
you ain't
job.
got no balls.
I know how to get the job.
Well, you didn't do
done.
very well in swine flu. H1N1, you were a disaster. Your own chief of staff said you were a disaster.
14,000 people died, not 200,000. There was
A
no
very-
economic recession.
Sir, you made a
There was,
far
there
less
was no
lethal
recession.
disease.
You made a point. Let him
And there-
answer it.
And there was we didn't shut down the economy. This is his economy he's shut down. The reason it's shut down is because, look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID? How many of you were in a situation where you lost your mom or dad and you couldn't even speak to them? You had a nurse holding a phone up so you could, in fact, say goodbye.
You would have lost far
How
more
many
people.
people?
Far
That is-
more people.
And
You would have been
And by the way,
months late.
your own
Months behind me,
his
Joe.
own CDC director says we could lose as many as another 200,000 people between now and the end of the year. And he held up. He said, if we just wear a mask, we can save half those numbers. Just a mask. And by the way, in terms of the whole notion of a vaccine, we're for a vaccine, but I don't trust him at all, nor do you. I know you don't. What we trust is a scientist.
You don't
we
trust
Dr.
Johnson &
Fauci.
Johnson, Pfizer?
And
Okay,
by the way,
gentlemen,
and
let me move on to questions about the future, because you both have touched on two of the questions I'm going to ask. Focusing on the future first, President Trump, you have repeatedly either contradicted or been at odds with some of your government's own top scientists. The week before last, the head of the Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield, said it would be summer before the vaccine would become generally available to the public. He said that he was confused and mistaken. Those were your two words.
Hold on.
Dr. Slawi, the head of your Operation Warp
pause
Speed,
this.
has said exactly the same thing.
All right, we got Dr. Rogers in the house. What is going on, Dr. Rogers? Hello? Nothing. Hello? You know what? God damn, how does this thing work? Are you here? Hello? I'm gonna call you on my real phone. Let's see here. We got Dr. Rogers. Let me call her.
Hello?
Hey, Doc, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Got me live.
Yeah, yeah, you on live. You want me to take you off?
No, I was just gonna say don't try not to put my name, What I was gonna say is, because the comments are coming up slow, what I was saying is he did overtalk Biden. Just based on the debate, I would say he won the debate because of that overspeed. But I'm saying in real life, because I work for this joker, he has no plans. They literally change every day. We get a new memo every day because there is no plan for anything. It all depends on what's going on in the media. It all depends on what's going on with Fox News. It all depends on what's going on with right now with the upcoming election. Everything changes based on what he needs in his personal life to forward his agenda. It's not for the people.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to deal with that every day and just be closed-mouthed about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. And as far as that Corona thing, everybody's stuck on January. He knew about that well before January. Well before. But what he did was make sure he was taken care of. He didn't make sure we were taken care of. That's just what I'm saying with that. There are a lot of things that a lot of the politicians know, and that's why when you see Joe Biden laughing or chuckling at something that he's saying, it's because they know the truth. This guy, he is a master manipulator when it comes to words. So yeah, if we just speaking on the debate, yeah, he took over the debate. He did that. But when it comes to facts and dealing with real people, that man can give two flips about what happens to the people in this country. Those are facts. I wish I could show you some documentation. He does not care.
I mean,
and that's all I wanted to say, because he can put on a good show. I mean, he's an entertainer at the end of the day. But when it comes to running this country and making sure that the people of this country are safe, making sure that the people of this country are taken care of, he does not care.
Well, as the vice president, to me, if he was not debating somebody who had been in the Senate for 50 years and been the vice president for 8 years, then what he's saying would have more merit to it. I'm talking about from Biden. But I don't feel like Biden is a better choice than Trump.
I'm honestly tell you, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna be deleting my comments too. Let me say that. But as far as him, I can't speak on voting. I can't speak on that at all. But I would just beg to differ on that, and I'll just leave that alone, because there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm just gonna say that racism is real, and I'm gonna leave it there. And that's something that's not going to be addressed in the debates.
Right. Well, I mean, I get what you're saying. When I check the history on Biden, and I mean, like I say, for me, what he did to Clarence Thomas, an Ivy League graduate, went to Yale with the Anita Hill thing, with him and his cronies, Edward Kennedy, all of them sitting up in here and castrating a man live on C-SPAN back in the early 90s. Clarence Thomas, who's in a way higher position than you and I, said that this is a high-tech lynching. And so what we are seeing is just two alternate factions of white supremacy, basically debating who is going to who's going to control the Negroes, or who is going to take these people to the outhouse better. So I'm not for nor against either person. I'm just sitting here just watching this debate, and I'm
you
just
like that man. Don't play. You like that man.
No, I don't, because I'm not. I mean, I like how he not gonna let you fly over here just lying on you. But I'm not voting.
Trent, here's the thing, though. Most of what he's saying up there, he's a fabricator. We know that. We know that. That stuff with that health care, oh my goodness. I wish I could say what I want to say. He is not for the people with that health care.
Biden ain't either. That's what I'm saying. That Obamacare is horrible.
When you talk about track records, the one thing that Biden said that was true was that there was no plan. Yeah, you want to get rid of it. That was what part of his plan from before he entered office. That's what he said. But he had no plan. That's why the thing is still here.
Right. Yeah.
That's why it still exists, because he had, after 4 years, he still has no plan to make sure that people are taken care of adequately, because he's gonna get taken care of regardless.
Right. Well, when he said he's going to cut prescription drugs and all of that. I mean, yes, we know that Donald Trump is a liar, but I'm just saying that we can't say that Biden it ain't a liar too as well. We can't say
that's the thing, though.
Huh?
It's the same thing where people had to take a gamble on Trump. Okay, now we know he's a bona fide liar. Lord, I ain't even mean to say his name. He's a bona fide liar. We know that. And so it's just like the next person that comes into office, you're going to have to go and see what they do. I can tell you that all the stuff that this guy promised before he got into office, he did everything that he told his constituents that he was going to do. But as far as what he told the American people, he fell short on that from the beginning up until now.
Right, but I'm saying we had 8 years of an Obama-Biden White House, and they said that it was going to take 10 years to correct the plan. So Donald Trump's first 2 years in office, he undid everything that Obama did. But when Obama ran, I was in high school back in 2008. And I remember watching these debates and all of this stuff when Obama said he had a 10-year plan. So that was the first 2 years of the Trump plan. And after the 10 years as a black man in these United States, I don't see what the effects of what did we gain under the Obama administration. And I have to hold Joe Biden accountable for the failures of the Obama administration, because we are in a worse off predicament, or the same predicament, following 8 years of Obama presidency that we were beforehand. And in fact, we have gotten worse because we had a black president that did not do anything for the black agenda. Neither one of these candidates are talking about reissuing the $24 trillion of wealth that was generated by the United States from chattel and antebellum slavery. And so since neither one of them are talking about $16 billion of reparations, then I'm not for either one of these candidates, because we need, I'm sorry, I said 16 billion. It's $24 trillion. That's the estimated wealth, according to the sociologist Joseph R. Fegan, that was generated by slavery. So until one of these candidates,
trend in reality,
that is reality.
No, listen to what I'm saying. You're not going to get any president or potential candidate that's going to go and make any promises like that.
But that's what I'm saying.
And if they do, they lying.
Until somebody comes with a legitimate black agenda. Why would I take part in the voting process? That's not a process for me.
That's a personal choice with that, but it's like with any president, you're not supposed to be specifically catering to any one particular group.
But they do.
But at the end of the day, the only thing that I'll say about that is we can sit and we look at the stuff that they're doing, but I can tell you, I'm a living witness. I'm a living witness right now. I have to deal with this stuff, and I'm telling y'all, it's not right. I can give you something right now. For those of us who make a certain amount of money right now, we're getting a deduction taken out of. Actually, they stopped taking our disability. They stopped taking it out right now, so we don't have a choice. So if you make, so if you make like 6 figures, you don't have a choice. They stopped taking it out, right? Now the thing is, they stopped taking it out, so you're forced, and people are like, oh, well, y'all are getting extra money. But then we got to go back, and it's going to be taken out of 1, 2, or 3 checks. So we're going to get this large lump sum of money taken out of our checks when we can't opt out. We can't opt out, so they're messing with our tax money when you already having to deal with different things with taxes and having to pay all this money and all this stuff. Now you're making sure that we're going to have to pay more money at tax time. That's not helping it. That's not helping us. I'm about to say that's not helping anybody. That's not helping us.
Not helping us as blacks or us as $100,000 earners.
Workers, period. Workers, period. Because if you're gonna go, okay, yeah, it sounds good. We're not gonna take this money out your check. Why we can't opt out of it?
Well, for me,
because I don't need no more money added to my check, so I have to pay more money back at tax time.
Right. Well, for me, that when we start talking about the different tax issues, then those are issues that we could all get down to. But the way of the world is that you are eventually gonna get more taxes anyway, and so they will repeal tax laws for 2 years and then come back in the next election season and stuff it into some type of bill to where you're gonna get the tax once the politicians feel like giving you the tax. And so
But this is the thing that I'm saying, Trent. This wasn't based on some major tax policy. This is something that he decided. We got a memo, and they said, y'all are going to do this, and this is going to happen effective immediately. Until he decided they're not going to do it anymore. That's what I'm saying. This isn't something that all these lawmakers got together on. These are decisions that he is making. But it doesn't apply to everybody.
Well,
it applies to the people that he wants it to apply to.
So what I'm saying is, though, when we're talking about these things, yes, he has abused his presidential seat with the executive orders or his executive mandates that he wants to apply. But I'm speaking about the larger issue of benign neglect, where as black folks we are going neglected, and a lot of our issues aren't being heard, our issues aren't being seen. And so I'm voting for the large agenda. All of those nuanced issues, they aren't really that. I don't consider those things when I'm looking at the candidates, when I'm looking at who's on the ballot, because these nuanced issues are all part of a larger issue, which is his arrogance that he is emboldened by by his skin complexion that protects him and allows him to move this way. Obama can't move the way
Trent,
that
it's not nuanced when you're being affected by it.
Yeah, but
hold on one second. Hold on. CTS, Roger speaking. Morning.
Anywho. Yeah, I'm gonna get her off speaking. I don't want y'all to hear that shit. But listen. While Dr. Rogers is taking this phone call, how do y'all feel in the chat? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, I got you. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, she had she had her views. Again, y'all can call in. Y'all can call in. Y'all can say how y'all feel. Y'all can call in and say how y'all feel. Obama gave health care to all people, whether you had a job or not. So blacks can get. Yo, we got Courtney Love on the phone. Courtney Love, how you doing?
I love it. Great commentary. I want to shout out everybody in the chat. You know, and it is a debate. Mm-hmm. And the first topic that I want to speak on the COVID-19. Mm-hmm. I spend more time on YouTube than I do on TV. Mm-hmm. And if it's safe to drop a name, in the chat because I see how people, they don't want to drop names. Lovely T dropped the story from Wuhan, China, in, I believe, don't quote me for real, but they had them people over there who was sending videos to the United States in December. When we, you know, when some of us knew nothing about it, they had them people over there in Wuhan, China, locked up in buildings. They had a national, where you couldn't even come out your own home. And them people were dying. Now I'm going to move forward with the educational piece of the CDC. And I got to rock with Trump on this because he shut the border down. And if wasn't nobody in the chat can't remember, he shut it down. Now I'm a nurse, and I'm a real nurse. And we got educated. When we seen this hit, you could not go to Lowe's, you could not go to Home Depot, you couldn't go nowhere and get an N95 mask. And the reason why you couldn't go get an N95 mask is because Trump rerouted it to the essential workers. So I'm going somewhere with it. When we seen them numbers spike like that, and we saw an illness that was taking people out like it did, and then if you wasn't watching the numbers every day, just speaking on COVID and the part of the debate, and when the people started understanding what COVID was, because they kept on focusing on the numbers. We do get the PPE. Any healthcare facility that
Hold on, Courtney. When you say PPE, you got to break this shit back down to the GED level.
We're going to break it down to the GED level.
So,
I'm talking about personal protective equipment.
Okay, go ahead.
For the essential workers, the only thing, okay, let me slow down because I just want to address COVID. People wasn't looking at it was to stay in your house. At that time, that was the only way the government could protect you. Nobody wanted to stay in the house, and nobody wanted to wear a mask. And in January, February, March, the N95, it was not available to the public anymore because the government rerouted it to the hospitals. I live in Detroit. We was the third hardest hit. We had bodies stacked up on top of bodies. And I just wanted to address that. So now that the N95 and the N95 are available to you, it behooves you to go get it instead of walking around. And then they said by the government rerouting all that stuff. They had one of our biggest convention centers. He did provide ventilators for us. We talking about numbers, and we talking about a pandemic. I'm gonna get back in the chat, but to the people, right now, what we're facing a pandemic, and the way that this pandemic and this is a novel flu, NOVEL. It's a COVID-19 that they had never seen before. And if the people if it is your responsibility to protect you and your family. I'm an essential worker. I had the right to go to Walmart at 6 o'clock in the morning before the big crowd hit. I'm going to go back in the chat because I didn't want to rattle on, but it seemed to me like in the debate, he hit it dead on the head. we was trying to figure out how to protect the people. And these people were dying in masses. And one thing that people have to know about COVID is the way it is transmitted. You can breathe, you can be in somebody less than 6 feet and breathe because it's airborne. Most colds and flus are not airborne the way that this is. You gotta touch something. Like, you know how you catch a cold, and I might be the only one in my house that got the cold, and then everybody don't get it, because we washing our hands. But this COVID, this was not like that. All you had to do was talk to somebody. So if you wasn't looking at the way that the COVID was transmitted, like you said, we as essential healthcare workers on a grad school level, we didn't even know if this was biological warfare on China's part. So we got to take it all the way to where it goes. And I suggest that people go back and look at the videos at the way the government did other countries. They locked them in their houses. They didn't do us like that. So we're gonna go on back in the chat. But it behooves you to get a N95 mask, because that's the one that the plumbers wear. That's the one that the drywall and paint people wear. Because the simple mask is only going to limit you to a limited amount of protection, because it gets moist. And viruses and bacteria, they live in dark, warm places. Keep your kids out of school. Keep your kids, because October the 1st is tomorrow. And flu season starts October the 1st through May the 1st. And the reason why you see people who are not experiencing them horrific signs and symptoms is because, in my personal opinion, it done took out the people who had the pre-existing issues that it was attacking. It was attacking people with diabetes. It was attacking people with cardiovascular disorders. It was attacking people with hypertension. You had no chance with that. So if you're not suffering from that, you're not going to see, because that virus was a host to those types of pre-existing issues. So when it comes to the COVID-19, I got to ride with Trump on this. He did want to shut the border down, and he rerouted the personal protection equipment to the essential workers. Going back in the chat.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
do you understand that?
Yeah, what you just dropped? You just dropped a lot of hot fire real quick, because for me, I'm just looking at this or what have you. I'm looking at this. With respect to Dr. Rogers, like the taxes and stuff like that, a lot of that shit ain't determined by us as black folks. We either gonna get taxed or we not. What I'm paying attention to is these core essential elements. I'm neither for nor against Trump. I'm neither for nor against Joe Biden. I'm just simply calling bullshit right down the middle. And right down the middle, Joe Biden is motherfucking lying. Period. He's lying. And as far as the plan, as far as the mandates or whatever, the world is ever changing. So your programs and your policies have to be fluid. You know what I mean? They have to be liquid. They have to be able to move, and they have to be able to be altered on the dime or what have you.
And then back to the COVID, the reason why the society, listen to the word that I'm using, we were not bamboozled. The hardest hit, first it hit in Seattle. It hit in Seattle, Washington. You got to look at the states on where it hit. Seattle, Washington is close to a border. Then it trickled down to California, and then it settled down because those are warm states. And then it hit New York, New Jersey, and Detroit. And the reason why I gotta say this one more time, like we dealing with this debate. We dealing with this debate. You didn't know the numbers in Russia. They lied. But especially you didn't know them numbers, and you did not know the wait a minute, what's the word I want to say? Because I researched it. I did my research. You do not know the way that this virus was either created. We didn't know how it was transmitted, but we do know that the agenda started in Wuhan, China. And we got to still go back to the agenda of the protection of the American people, whether we black or whether we white. And I feel like he protected us the best way he could, because you need to go back and look at them videos, how they left them people just to die. You couldn't come out your house. And that's how they kept their numbers down, because they shut it down. And God forbid, it is what it is. Whoever fell by the wayside, fell by the wayside. But you gotta understand that them people was over there eating bats and cats. You cannot eat feces. They had the poorest FDA conditions in the world for a virus to mutate. And that's the word, mutate, like it did. And it's going to be another one.
No, I agree with you. I agree with everything that you're saying.
I had to slap it on you.
No, I mean it's all good feedback. I appreciate everything that you're saying, because when we are talking about these things, what we are saying is the quintessential white people tactics, which are, I create a problem, then I blame you for the results or for your reaction to the problem that I created. And that's what we're seeing Joe Biden do.
And that's how white people get down. I used to follow Inky. If anybody know who Inky is, he will tell you how white men think.
Professor Inky.
Huh?
Professor Inky.
Yes, Professor Inky. He gets down. He will tell you how white men think. Okay, that's just like if you blow your platform up and you start interviewing people and you start asking all the right questions, a black man will beat you up. A black man will beat you up. But go on DJ Vlad, not to change the subject, but I'm using this as an example. But go on DJ Vlad channel. He'll set you up to catch a federal case. But you gonna keep on answering his questions, and it's all in the mindset of a person on how you receiving and retaining and comprehending the information. So it's gonna be to the chat. For everybody don't know, it's 4 debates. It's 4 more. It's 3 more. We done already had 1. And they're going to tell you what them topics are going to be so you can take a stand. Because me, I'd rather vote for the Green Party than either one of them two. But right now, we need to focus on, because people want to say, he ain't said nothing about a black agenda. We got another wave of COVID-19. This can hit us one more time in pandemic proportions. Yeah, so I just want to address the part.
For me, it's not. For me, what the goal is of any of my platforms, whether it's grad school, whether it's parental advisory, or opinionated, The goal of my platform is to bring honesty to the conversation, and let's be unpartisan. Well, let's not pick a side unless the side is the black agenda, unless the side is black nationalism, unless the side is black advancement. Because I am black. That is a fact that I can't escape. Michael Jackson tried to escape it, and they still came and killed his ass. For real.
You're right.
So
and it got to be to a point to where, you know, when we having these conversations, we should be able to call a person out.
Yeah. And
you
so
know, without no a person you know, get mad at a person, you know, because that's how, like you said, it has to be all facts. Or an opinion, you know, but it shouldn't be to where I'm scared to say what's on my mind.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying is that you have to look at the overall issue. We are black people fundamentally. Most of my subscribers are black. You know, you got the Red Bunnies, you got Iris Sulfur Kelly. You got a few people here who are of the other complexion, but the majority, which is what all people lean towards, is the majority and not the minority. Then you have to look at the overall high-arcing issue is that as black people, we have a black agenda. And which one of these candidates most closely aligns with the black agenda? We had 8 years of an Obama presidency. The same issues that existed in the Obama presidency are worse now. We had more black people getting murdered by the police in proportions that we had not seen since 1950s and 1960s. Chicago was still a murder capital. Chicago still has the same level of crime and violence until you get a Kim Fox moving into Chicago and removing the thresholds for what constitutes felonious acts, but not individually going deep into the issues and actually removing the crime and violence from that. And so there's a running narrative that Trump is a racist, and then we are supposed to be against Trump because he is a racist. Trump is an 80-year-old white man. He is no more or no less racist than the average typical 80-year-old white man. Most white men who are of that age, who came from where he comes from, are white. And that's the thing that is not being said. We are arguing racist games. All right, yeah, Trump did racist shit, but so did Joe Biden. Kamala Harris is not for any woman that's sitting up in here and you sucking on the oppressor's dick every night, and you got you a white man. You cannot be for the black man. You can't be for the black agenda if you sucking white dick every night. And we gotta keep that shit real.
She is not ADOS. And then you know why you guide me that way. You gotta research it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working in a hospital for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
When they issue, this came under Truman.
Harry S. Truman,
every
President
person is worth $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Every person is insured for $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I said that to say how you can understand the Obamacare, and just in my personal opinion, they're not going to be able to dismantle that. And he was brilliant with what he did with it, because you got to understand it's over how many pages? 600 pages.
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna dismantle something that's got the wording? But back to healthcare, every person is worth $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
What eats up the $1 million was the pre-existing issues.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can have a child that's born with cystic fibrosis,
mm-hmm.
which is a lung disease.
Yeah, I have cystic fibrosis.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And once you eat up that $1 million, okay, is it the right thing to do to let you die? No, I got to keep you covered. So that's what the Obamacare did. It allowed Obamacare. I don't know where the people at in the chat that's confused on it. I don't know. I can't speak on it. But Obamacare allowed you. When you have children, your kids fall off of your insurance at 18. But Obamacare allowed them to stay on till they were 26. People don't even understand how many debilitated children are staying in the house on traits and vents that cost thousands of dollars every month. Thousands of dollars every single month just to keep them alive. So those were the issues that Obama tried to attack in the Obamacare, but he wrote it up in such a way to where I live in Michigan, which was a welfare state. This was a welfare state. And you could be a man on general assistance and get $125 a month and get a Medicaid card. Well, then they said that this was going to not be no welfare state no more. You had to work. But Obama allowed everybody to be, like you said, equal. But what cost? So then, once you seen the premium go up, because I remember when I used to pay for Blue Cross Blue Shield, had Delta Dental, I only paid $34 every 2 weeks. I can't even afford Obamacare. Why they playing? So
And I had an Obamacare plan, and that shit was like, $300 or something like that per month. And that's just going into the marketplace, getting an affordable care plan from Cigna, and that's like for some like C-rate insurance. You know what I mean? And so it's a taxation because I can't file my taxes, or I get a hit on my taxes if I don't have this shit.
And
so
in Michigan, in Michigan, you gonna get a hit on your insurance if you don't have no health care.
But that's what I'm saying, is that it's not something that you could opt into. If you are a taxpaying person in the United States, you have to issue your insurance information once you get it to the IRS when you file your taxes, or else you're gonna be penalized. And so again, when we had Dr. Rogers call in, what we also have to take into account is that Obamacare itself is a taxation. Whether we want to agree with it or not, it's a taxation. And so when we are talking about the taxations that Trump is bringing in, again, we both issues negate each other, and we're still left with the black agenda. Who is coming with the black agenda? Why is it that all of the Rust Belt cities, the Rust Belt cities are still in fucked up economic conditions? East St. Louis, Missouri, Cleveland, Toledo, Ohio, Akron, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Detroit. What are the other ones? Pittsburgh. All of those cities in Michigan where them GM plants and stuff were at. All of the major cities that had major industrial plants, Kansas City, all of these are vacant. These are ghost towns now, and none of these towns have been rebuilt and being repurposed with with green jobs or any type of jobs that apply to black people. Then where are the major training programs? If you are a black person in the United States, we need a policy to where you should be able to go to college for free because the sweat equity of your grandparents built this motherfucker.
And that raises another good topic. I can remember when we was little kids and the roof started leaking, your granddaddy knew how to go up there and fix that. These kids don't know how to do none of that.
Yeah.
If grandma said the furnace done broke down, your grandfather knew how to go in there and fix that. But now you got to pay a white person to come in here and fix your furnace, and you don't, and he looking at you and you don't know, and he gonna tell you you need a whole new furnace, and you might only need a running board in there. So I'm with you. I'm with you. We gotta address this. We must address a black agenda. If we don't, I don't. You know, only thing I can say is that I see the nature of these events. That's gonna come down the pipe. So I'm gonna go on back in the chat. We're gonna keep on, but we got 3 more debates to go. And I just want to say it one more time. Anybody in the chat, go get you in the N95. That mask lasts as long as it's not dirty anymore. The N95, you can't wash it out. You got to get the N95, but the N95s are now available. But once this flu season hit, it's going to be gone all over again, and they're going to reroute all of the PPE back to the essential worker. Because we was on the front line, and I have to advocate for the essential worker because we got down. We were saving lives. That's what I was doing every day.
Okay. All right. I appreciate you for calling in.
All right, then.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let me answer the question that Janicia Harris asked me a while ago. Courtney Love was talking. I didn't get a chance to break away from that. Listen. How do I feel about the black agenda Trump released last week? Trump came out with an agenda that was called the $500 billion dollar platinum plan. Okay, he came out with the $500 billion platinum plan. The way that I feel about this plan is that, again, it's insufficient. Blacks are owed $24 trillion. Blacks are owed $25 trillion. 24 trillion. Fuck it, we just gonna round it up to even 25. You coming with $500 billion, you short. You coming with $500 billion, you short. And the problem that I have from Donald Trump is that with all of these politicians, with both sides, why are we waiting till election season to start establishing and coming out with these policies? We have 2 people who, one is a billionaire, at least as far as we know with Donald Trump. The other one has been a politician for 50 years. Why are y'all still running on the merit of what y'all can do instead of the merit of what y'all have already done? When you step to people, you should be able to show them work. Okay? If I'm selling drugs, man, I can't go and sell no drugs that I ain't got. Because niggas in the streets gonna look at me crazy. If I step to you and I say, man, I can get you some kilos for 13 G's a pop. Or let's just say, let's make this real simple. I can give you some bricks for 7 G's a pop. When I'm saying this shit, I better be able to step to these niggas with my work. Don't just tell me about it. You're going to have to come to me and show me. Both of them are saying, look what I got this thing for you. Yeah, you should vote for me. No. Show us what the fuck you have done Then we gonna vote for you. Then we can vote for you. Show me what you have done. Step to me with your agenda. Don't give me what you gonna do. Step to me with what you have done. Because when they tell you vote, then it's a system of benign neglect in place. Benign neglect is where they promise you things, but then they never produced on what is promised. Period. But we're gonna get back to this Democratic. We're gonna get back to this debate. I'll call it a Democratic debate, but we're gonna get back to it.
Thing. Are they both wrong?
Well, I've spoken to the companies and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make it political than save lives.
God.
It is a very political thing. I've spoken to Pfizer. I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to. We have great Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and others. They can go faster than that by a lot. Become very political because the left, or I don't know if I call them
you're
left, I don't know
suggesting
what
that
I call
the
them.
head of your Operation Warp Speed, Dr. Slawi,
I disagree with him. Yeah, no, I disagree with both of them. And he didn't say that. He said it could be there, but it could also be much sooner. I had him in my office 2 days ago.
He talked about the summer, sir, before it's generally available. Just like
He said
Dr.
it's a
Redfield.
possibility that we'll have the answer before November 1st. It could also
I'm
be
talking about when
after
it's
that.
generally available. not when
Well,
it's
we're going to
being-
deliver it right away. We have the military all set up logistically. They're all set up. We have our military that delivers soldiers, and they can do 200,000 a day. They're going to be
This is
delivering.
the same man
It's
who
all
told
set
you
up.
by Easter this would be gone away. By the warm weather, it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle. And by the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the
That
same
was
man.
said sarcastically, you know that. That was said sarcastically.
And so here's the deal. This man is talking about a vaccine. Every serious company is talking about maybe having a vaccine done by the end of the year, but the distribution of that vaccine will not occur until sometime beginning or the middle of next year to get it out, if we get the vaccine. And pray God we will. Pray God we will.
Mr. Vice President, I want to pick up
You'll have
on
the
that.
vaccine
I
sooner
want to
than
pick
that.
up on this question, though. You say the public can trust the scientists, but they can't trust President Trump. In fact, you said that again tonight. Your running mate, Senator Harris, goes further, saying the public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed. Given the fact that polls already show that people are concerned about the vaccine and are reluctant to take it, are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
No more than the question you just asked him. You pointed out. He puts pressure and disagrees with his own scientists.
But you're saying you
Everybody
can't, or
knows.
Senator
And-
Harris is saying
no,
you can't trust the scientists.
No, you can trust the scientists. She didn't say that. You can trust
She said the public health
Did say
experts,
that.
quote, will be muzzled, will be
Yes.
suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to do. But there's millions of scientists, there's thousands of scientists out there, like here at this great hospital, that don't work for him. Their job doesn't depend on him. That's not, they're the people, and by
I
the way.
spoke to the
in fact,
scientists that are in charge.
By the way.
They will have the vaccine very soon.
Let him finish.
You believe for a moment what he's telling you in light of all the lies he's told you about the whole issue relating to COVID. He still hasn't even acknowledged that he knew this was happening, knew how dangerous it was going to be back in February, and he didn't even tell you. He's on record as saying it. He panicked or he just looked at the stock market. One of the two, because guess what? A lot of people died. And a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
So-
Mr. President?
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
He just G-checked this nigga. He like, nigga, you graduated low in your class. Nigga, let's see this G-check one more
President?
time.
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years you've done nothing.
Well, let's have this debate.
And if you
We'll
would have
see.
had, let me just tell you something, Joe.
No,
If you would have had the charge of what I was put through, I had to close the greatest economy in the history of our country. And by the way, now it's being built again.
see,
and it's
We're going to
going
get
up
to the
fast.
economy in the next segment, sir.
Okay.
It's going up fast. I look
Okay.
forward to it.
When it comes to how the virus has been handled so far, the two of you have taken very different approaches, and this is going to affect how the virus is handled going forward by whichever of you ends up becoming the next president. I want to quickly go through several of those. Reopenings. Vice President Biden, you have been much more reluctant than President Trump about reopening the economy and schools. Why, sir?
Because he doesn't have a plan. If I were running, I know what the plan is. You've got to provide these businesses the ability to have the money to be able to reopen with the PPE as well as with the sanitation they need. You have to
Tell
provide
that
them
to Nancy
plastic.
Pelosi.
Well, he's just shush for a minute.
Tell it to Nancy
No,
Pelosi.
And
Schumer,
by the
Brian
way,
Chuck.
Nancy Pelosi and Schumer, they have a plan. He won't even meet with them. The Republicans won't meet with the Senate, and he sits in his golf course, and well, I mean, literally, think about it.
You probably play more than I do, Joe.
What about this question of reopenings and the fact?
Well, he wants to shut down this country, and I want to keep it open. And we did a great thing by shutting it down. Wait a minute, Joe. Let me shut you down for a second, Joe, just for 1 second. He wants to shut down the country. We just went through it. We had to because we didn't know anything about the disease. Now we found that elderly people with heart problems and diabetes and different problems are very, very vulnerable. We learned a lot. Young children aren't. Even younger people aren't. We've learned a lot. But he wants to shut it down. More people will be hurt by continuing. If you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at certain states that have been shut down, they have Democrat governors all. One of the reasons they shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election on November 3rd.
I want to move on to another subject. I want to move on to another subject.
But those states are not doing well that are shut down right now.
Respond to that.
President Trump, you have begun to increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer. And in fact, recently you have cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks
efficacy
are okay.
of
You have
masks?
to understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on it, when I think I need it. Tonight, as an example, everybody's had a test and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to, but I
Just
wear
like your
masks
rally.
when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. I will say this.
Vice President Biden, go ahead, sir.
Look, the way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to open. We provided money.
But I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Oh, masks make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if we just wore masks between now, everybody wore masks in social distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100,000 lives. It matters.
And they've also said the opposite. They've also said
no serious person said the opposite.
Well, look
serious.
at Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci said the opposite.
He did not say the opposite.
We got a little bit more than a minute left in this
masks
segment.
are not good. Then he changed his mind. He said masks are good. I'm okay with masks.
I want to ask you both about one last subject because your different approaches has even affected the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together, thousands of people. Outside, yes, sir, agreed. Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with
nobody will show up.
People with
What's true? Nobody shows up to his rallies.
All right. In any case, why you holding the big rallies? Why you not? You goes first, sir.
Because people want to hear what I have to say. I mean,
But are you
I've
not
done a
worried
great
about it
job
spreading
as a
disease?
president, and I'll have 35,000 people show up.
Right.
We use
Nikki,
airports.
Are you not
hangars,
worried about
we
the
have a
disease
lot of
issues,
people.
sir?
Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference, according to the experts. And we do them outside. We have tremendous crowds, as you see. I mean, and literally on 24 hours notice. And Joe does the circles and has 3 people someplace.
Okay.
By the way, did you see
sir.
one of the last big rallies he had? And a reporter came up to him to ask him a question. He said, no, stand back. Put on your mask. Put on a mask. Have you been tested? I'm way far away from those other people. That's what he said. I can't. I'm going to be okay. He's not worried about you. He's not worried about the people out there breathing in one another.
We've had no negative
cheek to
effect.
jowl. No negative effect.
We've had no negative effect. And we've had 35, 40,000
All right.
people
wanna
at these rallies.
Just
Yes.
quickly finish up because I want to move on to our next.
Yes, I would. He's been totally irresponsible the way in which he has handled the social distancing and people wearing masks, basically encouraged them not to.
All right.
Ben, he's a fool on this.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on
Nobody
to the
cares.
gentlemen? Can we move on?
He telling the truth right there, man. I as a American, voting citizen, I don't give a goddamn about no damn Joe Biden debate. I don't care.
Under the economy?
Yes.
The economy is, I think it's fair to say, recovering faster than expected from the shutdown.
Much faster.
In the second quarter, the unemployment rate fell to 8.4% last month. The Federal Reserve says the hit to growth, which is going to be there, is not going to be nearly as big as they had expected. President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped recovery. Vice President Biden, you say it's more of a K-shape. What difference does that mean to the American people in terms of the economy? President Trump, in this segment, you go first.
So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. When the plague came in, we closed it down, which was very hard psychologically to do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. And again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still 204,000 people is too much. One person is too much. Should have never happened from China. But what happened is we closed it down, and now we're reopening, and we're doing record business. We had 10.4 million people in a 4-month period that we've put back into the workforce. That's a record the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. And he wants to close down he will shut it down again. He will destroy this country. A lot of people, between drugs and alcohol and depression, when you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening in some of your Democrat-run states where they have these tough shutdowns. And I'm telling you, it's because they don't want to open it. One of them came out last week. You saw that. Oh, we're going to open up on November 9th. Why November 9th? Because it's after the election. They think they're hurting us by keeping them closed. They're hurting people. People know what to do. They can social distance. They can wash their hands. They can wear masks. They can do whatever they want. But they got to open these states up. When you look at North Carolina, and these governors are under siege, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and a couple of others, you got to open these states up. It's not fair. You're talking about almost it's like being in prison. And you look at what's going on with divorce, look at what's going on with alcoholism and drugs. It's a very, very sad thing. And he'll close down the whole country. This guy will close down the whole country and destroy our country. Our country is coming back incredibly well, setting records as it does it. We don't need somebody to come in and say, let's shut it down.
All right. Your 2 minutes, sir. We're now moved to you. As I said, posing the question, the president says it's a V-shaped recovery. You say it's a K-shaped recovery. What's the difference?
The difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis have done very well. Billionaires have made another $300 billion because of his profligate tax proposal, and he only focused on the market. But you folks at home, you folks living in Scranton and Claymont and all the small towns and working class towns in America, how well are you doing? This guy paid a total of $750 in taxes.
Sir, wait, no, sir, it's just the wrong state. Yeah, I understand. You've agreed to the 2 minutes, so please let him have it.
Do I get my time back? The fact is that he has, in fact, worked on this in a way that he's going to be the first president of the United States to leave office having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he became president. First one in American history. Secondly, the people who have lost their jobs are those people who have been on the front lines, those people who have been saving our lives, those people who have been out there dying, people who've been putting themselves in the way to make sure that we could all try to make it. And the idea that he is insisting that we go forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America. And he wants to open it up more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take care of the American? You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And he has no intention of doing anything about making it.
Now, this part right here, Joe Biden is getting Trump on. Okay? This part right here, Joe Biden is getting Trump on because ultimately, as the president of the United States, the things that happen with Corona fall back on Trump as the president of the United States. Trump don't have an answer for this shit. Trump opened up the country prematurely, or he's opening the country up so that the economy can rebound. Once the economy rebounds and the country is back open, then he's starting to curb some of those effects of the COVID, some of the effects of the lost marketplace, and he gives the stock market a chance to rebound. So the reason why he's opening it up is not because he cares about the United States people, but he's self-serving. So this part, Biden is telling the truth on. But I'm saying it's just straight down the middle.
Better for you all at home in terms of your health and your safety. Schools, why aren't schools open? Because it costs a lot of money to open them safely. You know, they were going to give, his administration was going to give the teachers and school students masks. And then they decided, no, couldn't do that because it's not a national emergency. Not a national emergency. They've done nothing to help small businesses. Nothing. They're closing. 1 in 6 is now gone. He ought to get on the job and take care of the needs of the American people so we can open safely.
All right, your time is up, sir. Well, you're going to get to...
I have to respond to that.
Well, you both had 2 minutes, sir.
Excuse me, he made a statement.
So did you.
People want their schools open. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town. And I'm not sure it can ever recover what they've done in New York. People want their places open. They want to get back to their lives. They'll be careful, but they want their schools open. I'm the one that brought back football. By the way, I brought back Big Ten football. It was me, and I'm very happy to do it. And
all right,
people of Ohio are very proud of me. And you know how I found out? When he took
gentlemen, we're going to get to your economic plans going forward in a moment. But first, Mr. President, as you well know, there's a new report that in 2016, the year you were elected president, and 2017, your first year as president, that you paid $750 a year in federal income tax each of those years. I know that you pay a lot of other taxes, but I'm asking you the specific question. Is it true that you paid $750 in federal income taxes each of those 2 years?
I paid millions of dollars in taxes, millions of dollars of income tax. And let me just tell you, there was a story in one of the papers. I paid $38 million 1 year. I paid $27 million.
Show us your tax returns.
I went, you'll see it as soon as it's finished. You'll see it. You know, if you want to go to the Board of Elections. There's a 118-page or so report that says everything I have, every bank I have, I'm totally under-leveraged because the assets are extremely good. And I built
Sir,
a great
I'm asking
company.
you a specific question, which
But
is...
let me tell you.
I understand all of that. I understand all of that. No, Mr. President, I'm asking you a question. Will you tell us how much you paid in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017?
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 750?
Millions of dollars, and you'll get to see it. And you'll get to see it. But let me just tell you, Chris, let me just tell you something, that it was the tax laws. I don't want to pay tax. Before I came here, I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for depreciation and for tax credits. We build a building and we get tax credits, like the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. You get a massive, which, by the way, was given to me by the Obama administration, if you can believe that. Now, the man got fired right after that happened. But
Vice President Biden, you want to respond?
Yeah, I do want to respond. Look, the tax code that made him, that put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher makes, on the money a school teacher makes, is because of him he says he's smart because he can take advantage of the tax code. And he does take advantage of the tax code. That's why I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts. And I'm going to eliminate those tax cuts and make sure that we invest in the people who, in fact, need the help. People out there need help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you weren't president. Because you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
you're the worst president America has ever had.
Hey,
come
Joe,
on.
Let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing,
Okay,
including
gentlemen.
fixing the broken military that you gave me, including
let's-
taking care
we're
of your
talking,
vets.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask you about your plans going forward because, Mr. Vice President, your economic plan, if you were to be
Yes,
elected
ma'am.
president, focuses a lot on big government, big taxes, big spending. I want to focus first on the taxes. You propose more than $4 trillion over a decade in new taxes on individuals making more than $400,000 a year and on corporations. President Trump says that that kind of an increase in taxes is going to hurt the economy as it's just coming out of a recession.
Well, just take a look at what as the analysis done by Wall Street firms points out that my economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years, number one. And number two, it would create an additional $1 trillion in economic growth because it would be about buying American. That we're going to make this federal government spend $600 billion a year on everything from ships to steel to buildings and the like. And under my proposal, we're going to make sure that every penny of that has to be made by a company.
But respectfully, sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
By the way, I'm going to eliminate a significant number of the tax. I'm going to make the corporate tax 28%. It shouldn't be 21%. You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500 who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
Why didn't you do it
Billions
before
of
when you
dollars.
were vice president with Obama?
Because you, in fact, passed that. That was
That's right.
your
I got
tax
it.
proposal.
I got it done. And you know what happened?
Yeah, you got it done.
Our economy boomed
And,
like it's never boomed.
The economy
Well,
is
Mr.
busted.
President,
Let me finish.
Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You would continue your free market approach, lower taxes, more deregulation, correct?
Not lower taxes for American people.
But let me.
Excuse me.
But in Obama's, you talk about the economy booming. It turns out that in Obama's final 3 years as president, more jobs were created, 1.5 million more jobs than in the first 3 years of your presidency.
They had the slowest recovery economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest recovery. Also, they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot. But they had the slowest economic recovery since 1929. Let me tell you about the stock market. When the stock market goes up, that means jobs. It also means 401ks. If you got in, if you ever became president with your ideas, you want to terminate my taxes, I'll tell you what, you'll lose half of the companies that have poured in here will leave, and plenty
Half
of
of the
companies that are
companies-
already here, they'll leave for
hardly any
other places.
companies have
They will
poured in
leave,
here.
and you will have a
Have it.
depression, the
That-
likes
that-
of which you've never seen.
Look,
Right now, they're arguing white folks shit. Okay? They are arguing white folks shit right here. Basically, what Trump is telling him is, yeah, the shit that I'm doing is fucked up, but you have to give a little in order to get a lot. And so he said, yeah, I probably gave some of this shit. He's acknowledging the shit that Biden is saying is true. But what he's saying is that I had to create an incentive to keep a lot of these companies that were going overseas domestic so that we could continue to have Americans who have jobs. Okay? So I just want y'all to understand that. Let's continue.
we inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American history. I was asked to bring it back. We were able to have an economic recovery that created the jobs you're talking about. We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It wasn't
He blew
booming.
it. He blew
It wasn't booming. It was the weakest recovery since 1929.
Is it fair to say he blew it when, in
When
fact,
COVID came in.
when there was record low unemployment before COVID?
Yeah, but because what he did, even before COVID, manufacturing went in the hole. Manufacturing went in the hole.
Excuse
number
me,
one.
Chris. Wait.
Number two.
Chris.
Number three.
They said it would take. No, you're on number two.
No.
Chris. They said it would
This
take a
guy-
miracle to bring back manufacturing. I brought back 700,000 jobs. They brought back nothing. They gave up on manufacturing.
We
Part
did
of
not
my
do that.
standard fare.
I'm the guy that
He
brought
totally
back
gave
the
up on
automobile
manufacturing.
industry. We brought back, I was asked to bring back Chrysler and General Motors. We brought them back right here in the state of Ohio and Michigan. He blew it. They're gone. He blew it. And in fact, they're going.
Ohio had the best year it's ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That is not
Many
true.
car companies came in from Germany, from Japan, went to Michigan, went to Ohio.
They're not having.
And didn't come in with you.
Mr. Vice President, go ahead.
And so you take a look at what he's actually done. He's done very little. His trade deals are the same way. He talks about these great trade deals. You know, he talks about the art of the deal. China's perfected the art of the steal. We have a higher deficit with China now than we did before. We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch.
All right,
Down 18%. China ate your lunch, Joe. And no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also, while we're at it, why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million. What did he do to deserve it? What did he do with Burisma to deserve $183,000?
None of
Asked
that
a question,
is true.
let him answer.
None of that is true.
Oh, really? He didn't get
But no,
$3.5 million?
Mr. President,
It's
Mr.
totally-
President, please.
Totally
ask a question.
discredited. Totally discredited. And by the way,
Well, wait, he didn't get
No, no.
$3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice.
He got
Mr.
$3.5 million.
President,
that is not true.
Oh, really?
Mr.
Oh.
President,
But,
it's an open discussion, please.
Now,
it's a fact.
Well,
There's- it
you
is
have
not.
raised an issue, let the
It's been
Vice
totally
President answer.
discredited.
Did
There was a
Burisma pay him
report-
$183,000 a month with no
experience.
experience in energy?
Mr.
Look,
President,
my son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he
and
did.
Mr.
the only
President,
guy that
let
did
him
something-
answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position has been totally, thoroughly discredited.
By who?
And
The media?
By everybody. Well, by the media, by our
because they refuse to
allies, by
talk
the
about it
World
because they're
Bank,
embarrassed.
by everyone has discredited. Matter of fact, even
Mr.
the people
President,
who
please stop.
testified under oth.
So let me
Under
ask you
oath.
this,
Henry,
Joe.
under
No,
oath.
go ahead, Mr. I'm listening to
Even
you.
the people under.
He got $3.5 million from
testified-
Moscow.
He testified under oath in his administration, said, I did my job and I did it very well.
Oh,
I
really?
did it
I'd like to know
honorably.
who they are.
Well, I'll give you the list
I'll
of the
fire
people who
them.
testified.
No, go ahead, sir.
Sure, you've already fired most of them because they did a
Some
good
because
job.
some people don't do
Well,
a good
here's
job.
the-
With you,
Go
they
ahead,
say,
you get
here's
the,
the
wait a
deal.
minute, you get the final word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me, this.
Hey, let
this
me just
person.
say, Joe,
No, I'm
No.
Mr. President.
$3.5
Mr.
million,
President.
Joe.
That is simply.
Why did
not
he
true.
deserve $3.5 million
It
from
did-
Moscow?
Look, here's the deal. We want to talk about
Where did the three-
ethics. I don't want to do that. I mean, his family, we could talk about.
Did he ever answer where the $3.5 million came from? Where did the $3.5 million go, Joe? Where did the $3.5 million go?
Out all night. His family's
My
already.
family,
No, let him go.
my family
Already
lost
wrote.
a fortune by
Go
coming down and helping
Go
us
ahead.
with
Go ahead,
government.
sir.
And that's such a.
and they're right
That's
here.
it, Mr.
That's such
President.
a
Every
great.
single one of them lost
This
a
is not
fortune
about
by
President.
my
coming and
family or
helping
his
us
family.
with
It's
government.
about your family,
They
the
didn't
American
collect
people.
$3.5 million
He doesn't.
nothing.
That's not true. It doesn't want to talk about what you need. You, the American people. It's about you. That's what we're talking about.
Then you
here.
should
All right,
Not
that's the end of the
Shouldn't
segment.
have taken the money.
We're moving on.
He didn't take them.
Well,
Vice
it's a-
President,
but Chris,
no,
Can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
No,
He stood up.
No,
he stood up,
the answer to
and
the
he
question is
threatened
no.
Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion,
Sir,
if you don't
that
get rid
is
of us.
you know what, you're-
absolutely
wait,
not
we're on
true.
tape doing it.
You're going to
On
have
tape.
True.
Gentlemen,
Is-
I hate to raise
Chris,
my voice,
he's
but
on
it seems
tape.
to me, why should I be different than the two of you? So here's the
That's a
deal.
good point.
We have 6 segments. We have ended that segment. We're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say anything you want. I'm going to ask a question about race, but if you want to answer about something else, go ahead. But I think that the country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
Well, and him too.
Well, frankly, you've been doing more interrupting
Well, that's
than
all
he
right,
has.
but he does plenty.
Well, less than, sir, less
there's
than.
plenty.
No, less than you have. Let's please continue on. The issue of race. Vice President Biden, you say that President Trump's response to the violence in Charlottesville 3 years ago, when he talked about very fine people on both sides, was what directly led you to launch this run for president.
Oh, yeah, sure.
President Trump, you have often said that you believe you have done more for Black Americans than any president, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. My question for the two of you is, why should voters trust you rather than your opponent to deal with the race issues facing this country over the next 4 years? Vice President Biden, you go first.
It's about equity and equality. It's about decency. It's about the Constitution. And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. But we've never walked away from it like he has done. It is true. The reason I got in the race is when those people, close your eyes, remember what those people look like coming out of the fields carrying torches, their veins bulging, just spewing anti-Semitic bile, and accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed. And they asked the president what he thought. He said there were very few on both sides. No president has ever said anything like that.
Finish this.
It is who's
Now,
who, sir.
second point I'd make is that when Floyd was killed, when Mr. Floyd was killed, there was
The
a
shit
peaceful
he
protest.
talking about
What did he do? He came out of his bunker,
This shit
military, to use tear gas on him so he could walk across to a church and hold up a Bible. And then what happened after that? The bishop of that very church, disgrace. The general
Y'all
who was with
smell
him
that
said, all he ever wants to do
Y'all
is
smell that shit.
not unite at all.
Everything Joe Biden says
is
stinks.
a dog whistle to try
It
to
all
generate
stinks.
racist hatred, racist division. This is a man who, in fact, you talk about helping African Americans. 1 in 1,000 African Americans have been killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year, 1 in 5 will have been killed. 1 in 5. This man is the savior of African Americans. This man cares at all. This man's done virtually nothing. Look, the fact is that you have to look at what he talks about. You have to look at what he did. And what he did has been disastrous for the African Americans.
So,
President Trump, you have 2 minutes. Why should Americans trust you over your opponent to deal with
he
racism?
did a crime bill, 1994, where you call them super predators. Super predators. And they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Joe.
No, sir, it's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they call you super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population.
Hey, that's
community,
true.
You have treated the black community
That's
about
true.
as bad as anybody in this country. You did the 1990, and that's why if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time because they saw what you did. You call them super predators, and you've called them worse than that. Because you look back at your testimony over the years, you've called them a lot worse than that. As far as the church is concerned, and as far as the generals are concerned, we just got the support of 250 military leaders and generals, total support. Law enforcement, almost every law enforcement group in the United States. I have Florida, I have Texas, I have Ohio, I have Portland. The sheriff just came out today and he said, I support President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. And why aren't you saying those words, Joe? Why don't you say the words law enforcement? Because you know what? If they called us in Portland, we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look,
This shit
Seattle,
facts.
they heard we were coming in the following
This
day and they
shit
put it in their
facts.
hands and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't. The top 10 cities and just about the top 40
Facts.
are run by Democrats and in many cases radical left. And they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
All right. I want to return to the question of race. Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there is. There's systemic injustice in this country, in education and work and in law enforcement and the way in which it's enforced. But look, The vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women. They risk their lives every day to take care of us. But there are some bad apples. And when they occur, when they find them, they have to be sorted out. They have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. What I'm going to do as President of the United States is call together an entire group of people at the White House, everything from the civil rights groups to the police officers, the police chiefs, and we're going to work this out. We're going to work this out so we change the way in which we have more transparency in when these things happen. These cops aren't happy to George Floyd. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to Breonna Taylor. Most don't like it. They have to have a system where people are held accountable. And by the way, violence in response is never appropriate. Never appropriate. Peaceful protest is. Violence is never appropriate.
What is peaceful protest? When they run through the town and burn down your stores and kill people all over the place,
that
and you
is
say
not
peaceful
peaceful
protest?
President
No,
Trump,
it's
I'm not
not,
asking-
but you say it is.
President Trump, I'd like to continue with the issue of law and order in a moment. This month, your administration directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training that addresses white privilege or critical race theory. Why did you decide to do that, to end racial sensitivity training? And do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country, sir?
I ended it because it's racist. I ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were asked to do things that were absolutely insane. That it was a radical revolution that was taking place in our military, in our schools, all over the place, and you know it, and so does everybody
what
else.
is radical,
and he would know it was totally
about
racist.
racial sensitivity training, sir?
If you were a certain person, you had no status in life. It was sort of a reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas and frankly very sick ideas. And really, they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen. We have to go back to the core values of this country. They were teaching people that our country is a horrible place, it's a racist place, and they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Vice President Biden?
Nobody's he's
Oh,
racist.
You just don't.
Here's the deal. I know a lot more about
You
this.
don't
than he
know.
does.
Let him finish.
The fact is that there is racial insensitivity. People have to be made aware of what other people feel like, what insults them, what is demeaning to them. It's important to people know they don't want to. Many people don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but it makes a big difference. It makes a gigantic difference in the way a child is able to grow up and have a sense of self-esteem. It's a little bit like how this guy and his friends look down on so many people. They look down their nose on people like Irish Catholics like me and grew up in Scranton. They look down on people who don't have money. They look down on people who are of a different faith. They look down on people who are a different color. In fact, we're all Americans. The only way we're going to bring this country together is bring everybody together. There's nothing we cannot do if we do it together. We can take this on and we can defeat racism in America.
President Trump, sir.
During the Obama-Biden administration, there was tremendous division. There was hatred. You look at Ferguson, you go to many places. Look at Oakland. Look what happened in Oakland. Look what happened in Baltimore. Look what happened. Frankly, it was more violent than what I'm even seeing now.
Oh, my
but
Lord.
the reason
This
is
is
that
ridiculous.
the Democrats that run these
Absolutely
cities
ridiculous.
don't want to talk like you about law and order.
Violent
and you
crime-
still haven't mentioned.
violent
Are you in
crime.
favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow
Are you
it
in
and a little
favor
bit
of law and order? Go
Yes,
ahead,
I'm
say
in
it.
favor.
You
Everybody's
asked a
in favor
question,
of
let him finish.
Law and order.
Loses
Law and order.
Let him
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly. And the fact of the matter is, violent crime went down 15% in our administration.
All right.
It's gone up on his watch.
Went down much more in ours.
All right, we're now,
is
you're,
president of
Mr.
the
President, you're going
United States of
to,
America.
We
Mr.
were
President,
breaking every record in the
Mr.
book.
President, you're going to be very happy because we're now going to talk about law and order.
Places we had trouble were Democratic-run cities.
That's exactly
it's
my question.
Democratic.
There has been a dramatic increase in
That's true.
homicides in America this summer particularly, and you often blame that on Democratic mayors and Democratic governors, but in fact there have been equivalent spikes in Republican-led cities like Tulsa and Fort Worth. So the question is this really a party issue?
I think it's a party issue. You can bring in a couple of examples, but if you look at Chicago, what's going on in Chicago, where 53 people
He's
were shot and
deflecting.
8 died shot. If you look at New York, where it's going up like nobody's ever seen anything, the numbers are going up 100, 150, 200%.
He's deflecting. He's deflecting, period. He is deflecting. All right. Donald Trump is deflecting. And that was about an hour of the debate, you know. Let's see. Y'all can hit the call-in number below if anybody who wants to voice, you know, how they feel about anything that they heard here today. I'm gonna be in here for a couple more minutes before I hit the gym and, you know, go and do my daily things. But yeah, if y'all want to talk to me or whatever, go ahead, hit the call-in number or whatever. Once y'all hit that call-in number and shit, you know, you can holler at me. I had to cut that shit off because even though I think that Trump has a lot of good facts, I think that he's full of fucking shit. And I also think that Biden is full of shit too. But I do consider Trump to be the lesser of two evils. I still would not vote for him. But if I was someone who was going to vote for a president and they absolutely strapped me down and said go ahead and vote, then I would vote for Biden. I mean, I would vote for Trump. I would not vote for Biden under no circumstances. Trump got him when he said you ain't did shit for 50 years. I did more in 47 months than you did in 47 years. That's just factual. That is factual. You know, that's the way that I feel. My thinking aligns more with Donald Trump when he's talking about these socialist ideas. So essentially what Biden and the Democrats want to do with these socialist policies is say that, oh, it's just with the socialist policies, it means as though all of us here in this chat right now, we're working class people. All of us know some bum ass niggas, and we don't associate with bum, dirty, dusty, broke ass niggas. What they want to do is they want to make it so that everybody has the same thing. It's major problems with that. One is that we live in a capitalistic society. The root word of capitalism is capital. You have to capitalize off of someone, something else. So you have some type of incentive to be the best version of you possible. If the government is handing you everything, then there is no incentive to do anything. Okay? And America as we know it will fall, which America as we know it needs to fall. But what they are doing is they are pulling the oldest white trick in the book, which is we're going to promise you a whole bunch of shit that we're not going to deliver on. What Trump is telling you is, I'm just telling you straight up, I'll give you a little bit, but I'm not going to give you enough to swing the pendulum of white supremacy back to where we have equality amongst everybody else. He say, I will do more for you than what the Democrats is going to do for you for sure, though. You can at least count on me to do more for you than what the Democrats is going to do. Two different ideologies. Which one do I roll with more? Like I say, I roll with what the Republicans' mind state is. However, I would not vote for either party until they start eclipsing or they start penetrating the threshold of talking about $24 trillion. Until they start talking about a $24 trillion plan. And to get us started, how about we get about 8 trillion? And then we talk about how we gonna get that other $16 trillion that's owed to us. Okay? Just give us $8 trillion to start off. If they come into any conversation and they're not talking about trillions of dollars, right? Then they're not they not having a real conversation with us. Okay? Until you start giving us access to our own banks, where is the funding for black banks and black neighborhoods and black issues going to go? Let's talk about neighborhood and city cleanup, okay? Where you can, don't you agree that it starts at the micro level, then meso, then macro? Blacks cannot continue to act and participate in the oppression of other blacks. We see it play out on SOC platform. What is SOC platform? What is that? I don't know what that means. Please tell me what SOC means. But until we start going through these historically black communities and cleaning them up, we're not doing anything. And so which candidate it has a special task force, right? That they are putting together on social platforms. I mean, on social platforms. The black folks that do dumb shit on social media platforms, Shireen, or those folks that are reflecting the environment that either they grew up in or that they are currently living in. Those environments that they are living in or where the dirt and where the squalor is. So you're going to have folks that are reflective of the dirt and squalor that they are living in. If you remove the dirt and squalor that the folks are living in, you give them a nice job in a nice neighborhood with a golf course behind them, then you will see righteousness start to subdue. All right, ratchetness, chickenheadish, hood ratedness. These are learned behaviors. Nobody comes out as a chickenhead. Nobody comes out as a hood rat. Nobody comes out as a hood nigga. Nobody come out with gold teeth and all this shit in their mouth. Nobody comes out the womb with all of this stuff. These are learned behaviors. Who taught you how to be a hood rat, a jigaboo? You got to understand that most of the white folks in the South, they did not know how to read. Okay, when they start talking about black folks using Ebonics, when they went and they got black folks out of Africa, they went and bought scientists, they bought engineers, they bought carpenters, they bought skilled laborers and skilled workers over here to America. And so when we are talking about these issues, we cannot look at the symptoms of the issue instead of addressing the root cause of it. The root cause is that the oppressor has a foot on his neck. If we had a black community where the black community could reasonably have jobs, where you had some type of restaurant, where you had some type of street sweeping, street cleanup, all these different things, then the community would fix itself overnight. All of the major gangs in America, the Black Keystone Rangers, El Rukins, the GDs, the Vice Lords, the Folk Nation, Crips, Bloods, all of these were all programs that were all started in order to combat the lack of material gains or the lack of resources that were in the black and urban communities. And so these gangs started up as how we got 21 people in this YouTube chat right now. We got Sharon, Courtney, Shireen, Sunflower Poverty, Lynn, Miss Fat. Alright, so we all got together, right? Well, let's just say we called ourselves the boots on the ground. And what our number one thing is that we said, all right, The white man ain't gonna give us a first shot. So let all of us get together and take some time where you work it out with your boss, where one day a week, you tell your boss you gonna come in late because you have to make sure that you cook breakfast for all of the kids in the neighborhood and that they have a safe way to get to school. All right? If you work it out with your boss on Monday, and Shireen works it out on Tuesday, and I work it out on Wednesday, and Sharon do it on Thursday, and Miss Fat does it on Friday, then we have started a community that is taking care of itself. That is the beginning of creating a black nation. Okay? Once you create that black nation where the community is self-engineering, self-reliant, then that is the beginning of getting financially and fiscally reliant. Okay? From that, you build up to where you are able to combat, you are able to combat the bullshit that is going on in the world. Okay? So with that being said, when you are out here, you seeing folks acting a fool, those folks are reflective of who they are and who they are internally. You know what I mean? A person can only display outwardly who they are internally. So we can't pay attention to what we see going on around us because, again, I breed dogs for a living. Okay? I breed dogs for a living. And all my dogs could be the sweetest dogs in the world. Okay? They could be the sweetest dogs in the world. When my dogs come out, I make all of my dogs are sweet dogs. You know, they're nice, kind, loyal, caring, all of that shit. None of my dogs are aggressive they're not aggressive when I first get them. The way that my dogs become aggressive is I put them on a back tie to where they can't run away from an issue when it's confronting them. I put them on a stakeout. I put them on a back tie up against a wall, up against a gate where they cannot retreat. Your first response is fight or flight. Once I sit there and I put enough pressure on my dog to where they can't go back, they're going to come forward and they're going to bite me. That is the way that I train my dogs to do protection work. It's the same concept with black folks. When they put you into a chaotic situation, i.e. the ghetto, i.e. the projects, i.e. Section 8 housing, i.e. bad schools, then you are in a situation that produces this bullshit behavior that we start to see. So how did we get here? We got here because we've been under a state where we don't have resources so that each one can do one. Now, most people are followers. Even those folks who you think are leaders are really truly followers when you really break it down. Because if everybody in the community is getting up at 6 o'clock going to work, if everybody is out here taking care of their kids, if everybody is out here not doing drugs, if nobody is fighting, if everybody is embracing each other with love, then when you come out and you the odd man out doing dumb shit, you're going to be easily recognizable because you are not moving in code or you're not moving uniform with how we are moving as a race and as a collective of people. So you have to start looking at what's keeping us from this, what's preventing us from doing this. It's a power structure in place to where even when I go to school, I get my degrees, I go to corporate America, I penetrate corporate America, I get me a job, it's still a glass ceiling and a moratorium on my success as a black person in these United States of America. All right? So from there, we start to see, well, where is this at? Where did this come from? Well, number one, I am a victim of white supremacy because the boss's boss worked at HR and they was friends with the person in accounting. And so it's a system of nepotism there. Okay, and then the guy who knows this company, he's the CEO of this company because he went to school with this guy's son, and this guy knows the senator. Okay, and the senator showed the person who actually owns the company how to get this money through government funding. Once you got this money through government funding and the government put up 85% of the money that it took to get your business started, then you had a subsequent set of actions of nepotism that put the organizational structure. What I mean by organizational structure is president, vice president, CFO, chief financial officer, chief operation officers, the head of HR, the director of internal affairs, the directors of your companies, all the way to mid management, to low level management, to team leads, etc. All of this was put in place. Well, where did the senator come from? The senator is somebody who reconvenes and speaks directly to the president of the United States, or has access to him within a reasonable amount of time through which he can respond, albeit 2 to 3 days, 1 week max. But where did that come from? That came from our forefathers. Where did our forefathers come from? Our forefathers came from Europe. Where did Europe come from? Europe came from Rome. Where did Rome come from? Rome came from Greece. Where did Greece come from? Greece came from Africa, i.e. Egypt. Where did Egypt come from? Egypt was at the roof of the Mediterranean River, but it all started with Nile Valley civilization that comes all the way from the deep or the depths of South Africa, that worked its way up the Nile River all the way up into the mouth of the Nile River that reaches out to the Mediterranean Sea. Therefore, you have to understand where the problem comes from. Once you understand where the problem comes from, then only then can we seek to find a solution to the problems that faces us and that plagues us as a people today. So when we are looking at these politicians, what is your political agenda? Where is it that you are doing something to help black folks? Number one, who is it in your administration that comes from the hood? Who is it that ain't a bought and paid for nigga? Who is it that you got that's rolling with you that is respected of the people? Where is the Martins? Where are the Malcolms? Where are the Huey P. Newtons? Where is the H. Rap Browns? Where is Bobby Seale? Where is Farrakhan? Khalid Muhammad? Where is any of these people? Leonard Jeffries, Kaba Kamene, even Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed, Michael Imhotep. Where are the people that have, even Tavis Smiley? Let's go to Tavis Smiley. Where are the people that have a vested interest? The people who have been doing God's work. They have been doing the ordained work that needs to be done for the past 20 years for free. Give them a position in office for them to further expand on what work we have already seen. All right. With that being said, let me go here. Again, y'all can go ahead. Y'all can call in if y'all seek to call in. Let's see here. If y'all seek to if y'all seek to call in, y'all can go ahead and call in. But I want to thank all of y'all for tuning in. You know, this has definitely been my show today. This was a grad school production. If you wish to donate to my channel, it is $motherfucking lifetime check, because I'm waiting on that motherfucking lifetime check. Okay? I'm waiting on that motherfucking lifetime check. Alright, so if you wish to donate to my channel, go ahead and give me one of the motherfucking lifetime checks. You feel me? Okay. Alright. And once again, we got to take y'all to the lab. We're gonna take y'all to the lab. We're gonna take y'all to the bridge.